What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, June 16th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. It was a rough day, and slap in the face. I was getting too fucking confident, obviously. Ugly day. It started out ugly with the Tigers looking atrocious, and it kept getting uglier. So a 2-5 day, down 3.35 units in MLB. And then an 0-3 day in the NHL. Ugly. Dennis Garcia rubbing it in our faces. Says those rusty Avs looked horrible yesterday. You know, I did think the Lightning would play better. And I think the Avs are somewhat vulnerable. And I'm also not sure how to bet game 2. 38-23, the Avs outshot the Lightning. And Vasilevsky has to be excellent. There has to be a huge advantage between the pipes. But ugly. It's been such an incredible playoff run, and got slapped in the face, which happens. And then, of course, as you guys who've been with me for a long time know, when I lose, I can't fucking sleep. I can't sleep. I was thinking about the hockey game and the mistakes I've made, and that's. I mean, we're sitting here 27-16 after those 3 losses. Up 13.42 units in the playoffs. But I've made mistakes on game 1 of both the last 2 Lightning series. Bad mistakes, ugly mistakes, and just eats at me. But we have an incredible show today. I'm very, very excited about the show. We start with Mr. Gogster. We're going to talk CFL, and we're going to get his look in for game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, which takes place Saturday night. It was an opportunity to hear how he plans to bet it. We were coming off an 11-0 plus 12.61 unit week last week in NHL, and we answer back, go by going 0-5. So they were all plus lines, so it's 5 units down, but ugly. So we need to bounce back. Then we have the triumphant return of Hunter Englehart. He's such a great MLB capper, and we've been trying to get him back on the show. I wish he had joined us earlier, but it's never too late to get to work. So Hunter Englehart will be breaking down the MLB card with us here. And he's an ex-ball player and a great capper. And you guys will see right away why we want him on the show so badly. Then we will go into NBA. We will rock NBA. We'll talk game 6 of the finals. So we're going to bring Dutch Boy Fresh, of course, 53-34, 60.9%, plus 17.20 units. ROI plus 19.77%, average line minus 103. We're going to bring our guy Dutch Boy Fresh onto the show. We've already heard what Thur is doing, what moves he's making. And we have the Betting with the Bag debut, a richly deserved debut for LJ from HTown, who will be joining us to break down the NBA with Dutch. So we'll have Dutch and LJ breaking it down. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It is great to see all of you guys. James S. cashing with Tampa Bay on the puck line. Top set, my guy. Great job, my guy, believing in the Lightning after that tough first period. Armchair, I did not lead us very well. And, God, I feel awful. Red Girl says, being sick with this new flu, it's horrible, but I'm back and ready to win some money. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And we are happy to have you back in action. We have missed you. Red Girl back in action with us. Moose Money off a 4-0 day. Great job. Saturated says, got up at 5 a.m. to move my buddy's parents. Already busted my ass for the day. Now just going to kick back, watch some games, and stack some paper. Saturated has been running so hot. He's been running so hot. I hope you follow him on Twitter because he's really running nicely. AOD in the house. Michael Overlina says, pissed from last night's game, lost every look except the Tampa Bay team total over. Was really hoping they could have stolen game 1 in overtime. First 2 goals they let up were horrible. Yeah, I was, when you're hoping for a goalie to stand on his head, it's probably not a strong stance or angle. AOD giving out a shout to our Jose Zuniata Bouquet. Vaughn Polo says, can't wait till I can drive to Atlantic City to see my extended family. Man, that's going to be magic. I can't wait for that as well. I'm excited. I'm excited about this show. I've wanted Hunter on this show for a long time, and I've wanted LJ. Ever since I got to hang with him in Houston, I was like, man, this is going to he's going to be a huge addition to the fam here. And he's done a bunch of shows on Pub Sports Radio, so I'm excited to have him here. Sammy Comer going Celtics first quarter, first half. I'm certainly leaning there. Top Set coming off a huge night in MLB. Man, Top Set, you've been so hot, man. James S. said, Lightning did play good. They came back to tie it up. They showed some championship pedigree, but still, Still, I think it's the Kemper being weak. Rather, I mean, they were outshot 38-23. Danny Lopez ready to get to work. North End says this NHL series is going to be dope. Control Your Vessel says, yeah, the Bolts messed up my money big time. Yeah, it was not good. Fireside cashing a bunch of live bets with the Ice Guys. I love hearing that. Slatsy says 1 for 2 in NHL. That tripping call on McCarr to give the A's 5-on-3 being the worst call of the playoffs, and that's saying something. Just ask Victor Hedman. You know what, Sorelli, you just got to be really careful. Sorelli, that I knew we were in trouble. That Lightning offense in the power play is just so dangerous. I hate it. I just, one thing that just beat me up last night is like, here I am sitting with futures on both teams to win the cup at beautiful numbers, and I still throw away $375 because I thought I had an edge. Sammy Cummings saying Cale McCarr should play soccer. It looked like a Neymar dive, excuse me. God, yeah, it's again, and we talk about different things on this show, and one thing I talk about with you guys is that we can't let the losses hurt more than the wins feel good. But I did that last night and really beat myself up over it all. Got to work on that so badly. Jay Peasy says, let's go betting with the bag in my ear, getting through my workday. Respect to Jay Peasy. And we have some big news that we're going to share with Jay Peasy. Going to get Jay Peasy in the studio, lock down some studio time for Jay Peasy. I'm very excited by all that. Ixnizzle coming off another big day. Man, the chat's been running so hot. And I did not help yesterday. I did not help at all. Billy Friedrich said, I still believe in Bolts in 6. Wow. D. Jenkins loving Kevin Holland inside the distance at plus 115. Johnny, nice to have Johnny back in action. We've missed you, Johnny. Dennis said there have been many soft penalties in the playoffs. There have been. Yeah, it was a frustrating day. A very, very frustrating day. Losing it, joining us. It sucks because we had, a big show yesterday with big numbers, and then I don't lead us right. Need to bounce back here. Let's get to work. So this is the plan of action. We're going to open up with this Montreal Alouettes Toronto Argonauts game with Mr. Gogster. The game's taking place a few minutes away from me. I can see the stadium from my pigeon-filled balcony. And then we're going to talk and get Gogster's Game 2 look of the Stanley Cup Finals. Then we're going to have Hunter Englehart join us, breaking down the entire MLB card. And then we will go into LJ and Dutch Boy Fresh for NBA. So I expect LJ and Dutch Boy Fresh to be joining us in about an hour and 42 minutes, at about 10-2. So we'll spend about 20 minutes here on CFL and NHL. Then we'll have about an hour and 20 minutes or so for the MLB card, and then we'll move into NBA. That is the plan. Let's get to work. Johnny says, that's gambling, bro. Yes, it's gambling. I hate that I still can't get over the issue that I have about not being able to sleep when I struggle capping-wise, and then I'm just like a fucking zombie-ass mess, wallowing in self-pity. But that will change right now. Let's bring on your first guest of the show, coming to us from Belleville, Ontario, 1-0 in CFL. I'm sitting 2-2. We've got work to do in CFL, but we destroyed CFL last year. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Gogster. Mr. Gogster, how are you, my man?
What's up, baby? How are we doing today, guys? It's a lovely Thursday morning. Yeah, Jim, the hockey game, buddy, it's up and down battle. Colorado, yeah, I expected them to come out strong, but seeing Tampa Bay come back and them kind of not being able to hold down the fort. You got goalie and Kemper. This is going to be a long series, in my opinion. We got a deep one here in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, guys.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a great series. I just think that Colorado is just clearly the best team in the NHL. I mean, I've been saying it over and over and over again all season long, and they still are. Whether or not Kemper but we'll get into that. We'll get into that here in a second. Let's get started with CFL. Gogster, you started 1-0 on the season. We have a game here, BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario, popping off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, and this is the season opener for the Toronto Argos. They opened up at -2.5, and they took a lot of money. And they also, the total has taken a lot of money to the over with the new rule changes in the CFL. So we've seen the Argos go from -2.5 to -3.5, key number. And we've seen this total move as well. It's funny that as of yesterday, this was actually -3. So it went from -2.5 to -3 to -3.5, back to -3, and then back to -3.5. So there has been some interesting movement. From a total perspective, we opened up at 47.5, and we are all the way up to 49.5, and it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going up. Let me just set a quick table for you, Mr. Gogster. This is the season opener for the Argos. It went 9-5 last year, and McLeod Bethel Thompson is expected to take the next level, the next step, and be an elite quarterback in the CFL. He was an Eastern All-Star last year, but he's always had to look over his shoulder, and this year he's not going to have to. He's the number one guy. He can struggle and maintain that number one spot.
What about Chad Kelly, though?
Look, Chad Kelly was supposedly just throwing like 70, 80-yard bombs and looking really good. But
throw him in a game, eh? Let's see how that works.
It's McLeod. It's McLeod, Bethel Thompson's team. Alouettes are coming off 30-27 loss on the road in Calgary week 1. They lose star running back William Stanback, last year's league leading rusher. They didn't lose him to the season, which I thought when we saw the injury, I thought he was done for the season, but he's on the 6-week IL with an ankle injury.
He's had surgery from what I've seen, Jimmy. He's had surgery too on that ankle. So
yeah, I thought he was done for the year when we watched it.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign that Stanback will return. Last year, and too bad he's not in this game, because last year the Argos were last in the league in rush defense. They allowed 5.7 yards per attempt. They have Jeshwin Antwi going to be stepping up in Stanback's absence. Now, he opened with a 70-yard run as soon as he got into the game, but I don't know if I trust him here, and I'm sure the Argos are going to be all over him. The Owls still have that incredible 1-2 tandem at receiver, Winicky and Eugene Lewis, and the Alouettes defense allowed the Stamps to run all over them. 103 yards on 19 carries. The Argos have new running back Andrew Harris, who's 35 years old right now, but he's still rolling. And he didn't put up a ton of yards last year, but he only played like 6 or 7 games, and then we saw what he could do in the playoffs. He was a beast. The Argos defensive line looks extremely tough. Their best probably angle of their defense is Sean Oakman in the interior, and then they have former first-round pick in the NFL, Shane Ray, and they pick up Jared Davis, their prized free agent acquisition. That's where we stand right now. Now, I have already bet this. I bet this morning. I was tied up with a couple things. I haven't tweeted it out yet, but I did move on the Argos first half, -1.5 at -120. Mr. Gogster, take it away. Alouettes, Argonauts, what's your move?
Oh, boy. Hopefully, well, let's talk this out because I might be going head-to-head against you here, Jimmy. Reason being, just Montreal's had that one game under their belt. Now, that Antwi guy, he didn't look bad. That 70-yard rush, he had 7 carries, 98 yards. And Stanback, it's not like he only had 3 rushes for 11 yards. He didn't really do a lot for their offense. It was Vernon Davis. He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but they still put up 24 points in the first half, Jimmy. It was just that second half where Montreal just got killed and Calgary started to come back. I think that's what's going to happen here too, to be honest. I think we're going to see a similar game to the Calgary-Montreal. I think Montreal is going to come out hot. If you heard what the owner there for Montreal says they're going to kill this team. They said they're going to just kill this team, which I don't know if the owner's taking a look at Toronto's additions. My Broncos, shout out to Denver's Broncos, finest first-round draft pick. Didn't turn out too damn well. Shane Ray out of Missouri. I remember this guy. Completely forgot about him, but he's a mean linebacker, guys. The fact that he's playing for Toronto Argos, that's a great addition. Probably one of the top, I'd say, 10 linebackers in the CFL for sure. Brandon Banks, too. You got him. This team's just got a lot of additions that's going to get them, I think, over the hump. That addition of Andrew Harris, too. Use him in the playoffs because, that loss against Hamilton, I think that was that really hurt the Argos. So the additions from Toronto, guys, look for them over time to win this game. I'm going to take go for a little bit of a price here, Jimmy. I'm going to take a couple bets here, guys. I'm going to take first half full game split. I'm taking Montreal first half, Jimmy. Second half Toronto. So you can check that out on your game props there, guys. It's plus 550. So Montreal comes out. Yeah, Montreal comes out hot. They're up, say, 14-10, 13-7, or maybe 13-8 with the goddamn Rouge. We have Rouges here in Canada. And then over time here, Toronto kind of get the first couple quarters of real CFL action, none of that preseason shit where they lost to Ottawa and 1-1 against Hamilton, but didn't play any of their starters. So I like that plus 550, Jimmy. And I'm also going to take Toronto to win, guys, between 1 and 6. I do think this is going to be a closer game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. If like the line's telling you that, in my opinion, Jim, everyone's betting Toronto like they got the newspaper for tomorrow, but the line's only 3.5, went down to 3. It's right around that key number. So I think 1 to 6, you can get that at plus 360. So a lot of big bombs here for you guys. If you have a couple bucks left in the account, Montreal first half, Toronto full game plus 550, and then Toronto between 1 and 6. They're going to win the game, 27-21, 24-23, something in that range. I think this is going to be a tighter game than what people think, because Montreal's offense, it's not like they did lose Stanback, but they still put up 27 on Calgary. So I do think we're going to see a better performance from Montreal, Jimmy, but they don't have the offense. They don't have the firepower all around for offense and defense to keep up with Toronto.
I wish I got caught up in other action, basically, but I thought I kind of circled this on the calendar as a tough spot for Montreal, and I thought that immediately when Stanback went down, but still starting the year with 2 road games is tough. Yeah. And so I know that we have no idea how many people are going to be.
It's going to be hot too. That's one thing here right now in Ontario. It's going to go up to about like 92 Fahrenheit. So it's going to be really warm too. So for what that's worth, that doesn't help Montreal coming on 2 road games here. That's why over time, I think second half is all Argos, but I do think Montreal can put up a good fight in the first 2 quarters. So
I love it. Great work. And I like you're going for a big score here. Started the year 1-0. Gogster's on the Alouettes first half, Argos full game. That's at plus 550. Ooh, and then you are on the Argos to win by 1 to 6 points at plus 360.
Yes, sir.
That is your action. I am on the Argos first half, minus 1.5 and minus 120. And I'm interested in backing the Argos full game as well. I have interest in them. I just missed the 2.5 to 3.5. It's a 3.5 in my book. I can't get an alternate line right now. They are going to open up more betting opportunities here as it goes on.
What about the halftime full-time angle there, Jimmy? Of taking Argos halftime and full-time.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting way of looking at it here.
Kill the spread and just take the money lines.
I just find I don't care what Antwi did in Stanback's absence. The fact that the Argos are now going to be able to not have to worry about Stanback, who just dominates them.
It's going to be a lot on Adams Jr. Vernon's going to have, it's if he doesn't perform, which I think it's going to be a lot. What first game it showed really he had to do a lot. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So, and you're going up against a really strong defense in Toronto. So,
and a defense that their biggest vulnerability was their run defense. And now I just don't feel like it's something that they've obviously thought about all offseason, but I just think that now that they don't have to worry about the number 1 running back in the league, puts them in a nice spot.
Yeah.
Puts them in a nice spot. So, but you're right. I should look at the Argos first half full game as well. I am going to make another move on this. I haven't finished yet. A great breakdown, though, from Mr. Gogster. Gogster, it's time to switch gears to Stanley Cup Final Game 2. This takes place Saturday night, but we had an opportunity to get Gogster's take on what he saw in Game 1 and how he is betting Game 2. The most important points to me were just that neither team played their best, and Colorado still looked so fast and so dynamic and so tough to stop. And then Kemper looked vulnerable. Colorado outshot Tampa 38-23. And Braden Point played 17 minutes and 59 seconds. He didn't. The only stat he registered was an assist, but the fact that he was able to play 18 minutes is a big deal.
I think that's a good sign for when they come back home for Game 3 and 4. You're going to have a couple games under Point's belt, so you're hoping he's going to be more ready for Games 3 and 4. And it's going to be interesting. I think this is so much like the Toronto series, guys. Toronto, Tampa Bay. I think it's going to go 6-7 games. Toronto too. What they win the first game, Jimmy, against Tampa? What was it? I think it was 5-0 or something. It was something crazy like that. But Tampa Bay guys on bounce backs after losing in the playoffs, they've been so strong, so strong. So they're doing the same thing they've been doing against every team, Jimmy, that's blocking pucks, making it tough for teams. Like even on their power play there for Colorado, Tampa Bay's still blocking shots. They're so sound in positioning for Tampa Bay is some of the best you're going to see going forward, because you see so much offense in all sports. But the way Tampa Bay plays defense and Vasilevsky going up against Colorado, guys, Colorado's, God, they have one of the best offenses, Jim, I've seen top to bottom in a long time. Just how quick they are, how explosive they are. And how Tampa Bay can still, they came back after being down 3-1. It's going to be interesting. Both teams are going to have to go back to the drawing board here and see what they can draw up, because I really say it's a coin flip game too, to be honest. And in total, guys, you saw how it is. I'd be leaning to the over again, but Tampa Bay, they don't want to get into that style of hockey. Jim, this is a really tough series. This is a really tough series, buddy.
I think the Lightning are in grave danger, and I think they had an opportunity in Game 1 where they were dealing with a team that hadn't played in a week and a half. They just had an opportunity that I think slipped through. So now that we're sitting here talking about it, I am surprised that this total is only over 6 at -105. That surprises me because the Avalanche are going to get theirs. I don't see how at home in this situation the Lightning are going to be able to shut them down unless Vasilevsky stands on his head.
Sorry, Jim, his numbers too. I know it was regular season, but I got to see it to believe it. Vasilevsky hasn't looked good against Colorado anytime soon, so that doesn't help your best player. Your best player on your team doesn't play well against the Stanley Cup or this Western Conference champion team in Colorado.
I mean, the only thing that happened last night really is that the Avalanche got even more confident. So I said on the show that when I put this script together, I was saying let Lightning win Game 1, Avalanche win the rest of them. Series ends in 5 games at the Ball Arena, and I maybe Game 3 when they go back to Tampa. But am I supposed to sit here and say Vasilevsky's going to stand on his head? And Avalanche team that knows they're 3 games away from the Stanley Cup isn't going to be firing on all cylinders. I have not bet it yet, but right now, I think there's going to be goals. I think that Kemper can't be trusted, and the Avalanche will be forced to open it up because the Lightning are capable of scoring in this series.
Yeah.
And then I think the over 6 at -105 and the Avalanche on the -1 line is where I'm leaning right here.
If you like Tampa Bay, I'd be taking I kind of lean towards Tampa Bay and Colorado team total under. If Tampa Bay wins this game, it's going to be a 3-2. It's not going to be crazy high scoring, in my opinion, Jimmy. How Tampa Bay's beat all these teams throughout the playoffs for the most part is low scoring, set up shop. So for the most part, beat down the other team. They just have to. Tampa Bay just have to. I don't even know how to say this, guys. Vasilevsky's good and all, but you're gonna have to see how I want to see how they perform. Sorry, after the loss, Jim. It's just so. They've been so damn good, Tampa Bay, after a loss. Now, if it's the same script, if it's like a 4-1 loss, if it's even worse than Game 1, I think we all know what's going to happen. I think it's a Colorado Stanley Cup. But this second game is massive for Tampa Bay, massive. And now seeing them coming back too from 3-1 down to 3-3, and then they held that game, Jimmy, was what, 3-3 halfway through the second. Like Tampa Bay, they're so damn good. It's not like Colorado won that game like a 5-5 and overtime 6-5. It kind of went the way Tampa Bay wanted to go throughout that half of the second period and the third period. It was just overtime. You can only hold a team down for so long. For every 3 dangerous opportunities Colorado have, Tampa Bay probably have 1. So that's the problem. Vasilevsky has to be that good because they have just so much power and so many high danger opportunities that Tampa Bay their offense isn't formed like that. So the chances Tampa Bay have, they're going to have to score, but it's maybe asking for too much.
They are going to score. They're going to score in this series. I've been watching them play, throughout this whole playoffs and playing this tight defensive game. Things change with Braden Point on the ice, and he's going to get better as the series goes on. And Kemper is vulnerable. I just see Kemper as being a goalie that doesn't have a 900.
He's an average goalie. He's an average goalie at best. Yeah.
So I think that Lightning after that game go, oh, we can score on Kemper, and we're going to score goals in the series. And then if they get a lead, maybe they can shut down the opposition if Vasilevsky stands on his head. So I can understand why either team would gain confidence from what happened in game one, but from a betting angle here, I see the Lightning opening it up more than they have in any series. And I think.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry, I was just going to go ahead.
Yeah, no, take it away, my man.
Tampa Bay team total over 2.5. Then I think that's got to be the play here. If they're an underdog,
juiced.
Is it really
hugely juiced?
What is it?
Minus 145 at Bet365.
And what's the over/under set at for the over?
The full game is at 6, and it's juiced to the under.
How the hell is and that's crazy. Usually you'd get a 2.5 underdog. You wouldn't see a 2.5 minus 143. That just tells me someone slammed the hell out of that. Why that? Because usually, guys, you'd see that 2.5 at like minus 110. If you got an underdog, and the total for the over is only minus 105. So that's very interesting.
I thought that Tampa played so differently. Now, obviously, they had to. They were down 3-1. But those goals, Colorado has some issues defensively. They do. And losing Girard hurt them because now, I mean, look, they have to play Bowen Byram, who's going to be a beast. But we're talking about, a 19-year-old kid who has to take all this ice time because the Johnsons aren't good.
And how good is Manson, too? Like, he's all right, but he's not, coming over from Anaheim. So
it was a crucial pickup, though.
It was huge, especially with how Sammy Girard went down. This guy's been money in the bank for him to slip right in there. But I think you're right there, Jimmy.
I think there's going to be goals. Maybe I need to spend more time on this, but I just saw the Lightning play completely different with the single player who holds the puck more than anyone else on the team is Braden Point. So in these other games where they didn't have him, it was really clear how they were going to win. They had just to block shots and take advantage of whatever opportunities they had, but they had to play really tight defensively. They don't have to do that anymore.
He helps their offense so much, Jimmy. Yeah, and one more thing, St. Louis is the team they struggled against Colorado, and that's I think we're going to see something similar. Like Nashville and Edmonton, they did the best they can, but St. Louis and Tampa Bay, they're more similar teams, Jimmy. And if you look at what St. Louis did on the road, they beat Colorado. I think two of one, I believe, something like that, guys. But I can tell you St. Louis was scoring on Colorado, left, right, and center, all over the place. And I think you're onto something with that with Tampa Bay here. So, I maybe shop around. I'm going to look around to see what I can get on that Tampa Bay team total over 2.5 because I think that's crazy. Minus 143. That's wow.
Yeah, I'm going to need a little more time. Dan Bonner says Colorado's all offense. They don't care about defense. Says their best defenseman could be one of the best defensive forwards on any team. Avs look to punch teams in the mouth early and keep the lead. The one thing I took from this game, and so for the Lightning, people who believe in the Lightning to win the Cup, the Lightning can play so much better. But when the Avalanche are playing average, they're still putting up goals. They're still dangerous offensively. They're still – and then – I mean, we got to move on, and I'd love to hear if you're making an official pick here for your record. But, I mean, what did you think of the differences between the first half of the game and the second half of the game? And are you expecting that tight play that was happening at 3-3 to carry over into game 2, or are you expecting what you saw in the first half of the game?
I think Tampa Bay's a pedigree. I think Tampa Bay's that good, actually, that the fact they came back in that second half tells me that they're probably going to put out their best foot. First period, you know what? Maybe there it is right there. I might even throw a first period Tampa Bay on the card there. That rings a bell right there. I know Dan's right when he says Colorado do like to come out hot and early, or even maybe Tampa Bay to score the first goal. I do think Tampa Bay are going to come out. The last thing they want to do is get in the same situation, down 2-0 early. It's the last thing I expect to see here in a two-time Stanley Cup champion with this very similar team. Point having a game under his belt too. And one thing about Point, he's great to just get right into the opposition's offensive zone and then just boom, set up your offense. He's really good at that. So, and that's one thing Tampa Bay is really hurt. They've struggled, not struggled, but they haven't scored as much offense. When Point's not there, they don't have that guy to go deep. Like, Nick Paul did it against Toronto, but other than that, really, the addition of Point is going to only help this team over time. We got a series, guys. I think it's going 6-7. This game too is huge.
Yeah, I don't know if it is.
I think Tampa's going to get better over time. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's all good, buddy. But Dan Monis has got to fight fire with fire. If Tampa wants a chance, they need to score first, play with the lead if they have a chance, play from behind, and Avs win 9 of 10. Are you making anything official here, Mr. Gogster?
Just shout out to Dan Bonner there. Couldn't have said any better myself, buddy. And this game, you know what? I'm gonna trust the best goalie I've seen in the last 5 years, and Andrei Vasilevsky in this defense, and I'll take the first period. Tampa Bay, whatever the best number is you can give me, I'll take Tampa Bay first period. I could even see this being a 2-1 first period. Tampa what they do really well too is get out to an early lead and slow your opposition down. And I want to see how Colorado do when they go up against a team like Tampa Bay if they get up. So let's rock with Tampa Bay, guys, first period.
By the way, Slatsy just moved on the over 2.5. Team total over 2.5. It was minus 120 at Pinnacle.
Boom. See, that makes more sense.
25 cents better. So you can add if you'd like.
I will add that. I will. Shout out to Slatsy. I will definitely add that.
All right. So first period, you're getting the Lightning at plus 119. And then Lightning team total
over 2.5 minus 120.
Over 2.5 minus 120.
Fuck, I love it.
All right.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
Oh, I'm definitely doubting the two-time champs. I'm definitely doubting them. Definitely. They're just not as good as the Avalanche. I mean, and if Vasilevsky's not going to stand on his head, they're going to have an early exit.
But I don't think Colorado are good enough to just win. Boom, 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 boom. Good night. I don't think they're that. They're good. They're good enough, but I don't think going up against a two-time Stanley Cup team, I don't think it's going to be easy. Bolts in 6. I don't mind that from Sammy Calmer. Either Bolts in 6 or I think it's going to be Avs in 7. That's what I would say.
I don't think so. I think this series
ends. Toronto, baby. Here we go.
I think the series ends in Game 5 in Colorado.
That's bold.
That's what I think. Bold. I think it ends in Game 5 in Colorado. Okay, we got to move on to MLB, but I'd just be very curious to see what that would pay.
You got to almost take that, Jimmy.
Lightning or Avalanche 4-1. It's only plus 300. Why would it be the lowest possible outcome? Why do you think, Ghost? It'd be by far the lowest odds.
Well,
because it's going to happen.
We'll have to let time tell, I guess.
We will let time tell. It was great to see you, Mr. Gogster. Mr. Gogster on Lightning first period at plus 119. Lightning team total over 2.5 minus 120. I'm leaning towards the Avs minus 1 and the over 6 at minus 105. I imagine that's not going to be there for long.
What's going on, Don Mac?
And then going for big scores here, just a couple blocks away at BMO Field. He's going for big scores. He's on the Alouettes first half Argos full game at plus 550, and the Argos win by 1 to 6 points at plus 360. Mr. Gogster, love working with you. Can't wait to rock next week. Hopefully the Stanley Cup Finals will still be on.
I think Game 5 would still take us to, I think, Saturday. They really got it split up. They got to go into the end of June this year. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for having me on, Jimmy. We'll see you next week. Golf, U.S. Open. Yeah. We got a little Lowry. We got a little Homa. We got Sung J M. We got Tommy Fleetwood, Billy Horschel. We got Keegan Bradley. Check me out, guys. Eagle47_. We got a golf show every Monday, too. Jamie, I'll see you Wednesday, brother.
Much love, my man. There he is, Mr. Gogster, coming to us from Belleville, Ontario. All right, I'm excited to welcome your next guest. I've capped with him for a long time, but he hasn't made enough appearances here with us at Pub Sports Radio. So I'm very excited for everybody to watch him work in MLB. He is a very skilled capper and he dominates MLB. And much like Dabby Cab, he played it at a very high level, and he's here to join us right now. Please welcome to the show, making his season debut, Hunter Englehart in the house. Hunter, what's happening, my man?
Jimmy, we're here. We did it. We finally made it happen.
We did. We've been trying to put this together for too long. I think that when everybody sees you work here, they are going to be clamoring to have you more involved in the show as we move forward. Let's get right to work. But before we do, why don't you let everybody watching know a little bit about your baseball background first? Why don't we start there, and then I'll have one more question for you. Talk to us about your baseball background.
All right. Well, I played Division I baseball. I was a pitcher. Had some location problems. I threw pretty hard, but had some location problems. So ended up going to the independent ball route, and ended up finally getting all my walk problems solved and everything. And I ended up tearing my rotator cuff. So not tore my labrum, and then had a slight tear in my rotator cuff. So I got the surgery. And just never came back strong. Got it done by the Philly surgeon, and he was honest with me. He said, "You're either going to come back throwing harder or not at all." So that's just the reality of it. So I ended up not coming back, but I'm still around the game, and I help coach the local JUCO here, who's a top 10 usual JUCO Division I in the nation. So I get to still work with pitchers and guys who end up going big time SEC schools and Power 5 conference, and a lot of them end up getting signed. So I'm still working at a high level and still in the game, and I just love watching. So,
oh man, that's I love that. I love that. I love that breakdown. Talk to us about how your season has gone thus far.
It's gone very well, actually. I got a snapshot that I keep track of my own plays. My average line, I'm a plus line guy, so I always go. Always search plus money in MLB. I mean, there's too many variables that can happen throughout the game where the best team can lose to the worst team. I mean, we see that all the time with the Pirates and LA Dodgers. I mean, that stuff just happens. But my average odds are around 120. There's 121, so my average odds are plus 121. Winning percentage 59.14, and I'm up 93 units so far on the season. So it's been I've been crushing it. So, but that could turn any time. It's baseball, so just got to go with the stats that we have.
I love it, and I look forward to tracking your action. You've always been a winning capper when you've worked with me here, so I'm so excited. Real Deal Prime says, like him already. All right, and Michael Everlane says, Englehart, can't wait to hear all your takes. Stoked you're finally able to join us on camera. Occupancy says, tell us your secret. Well, he already started by saying that he focuses on plus lines. Anytime when we can walk through these games here and you can talk about an angle that you're close to moving on, Hunter, we'll start hearing more of the secrets.
Right. And then the other part, which I just primarily, I would say 98% of my plays are first half, first 5 innings.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it's baseball situations, guys who need rest, don't need rest out of the bullpen. Once the bullpens get involved, all of our research that we do, in my opinion, for the most part, is dramatically affected by that. So I just stick to capping starting pitchers and stick to first 5, and that's kind of where my sweet spot is.
I love it. Let's get right to work. Trenton Claxton in the house, man. Trenton's run with us since I started. He's on the Red Sox and the Padres, feasting on weak competition. We will start with these Boston Red Sox. We start at 1:35 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics at the Boston Red Sox. Athletics 21-43 now. 22 games under 500. We've only played 64 games. They're 14-20 on the road. They fare a little better outside the cavernous, empty Oakland Coliseum. We're in Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's get everything up here so we can break this down officially. We'll start with the weather here at Fenway. Let me move this over. At Fenway, 74 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7.6 miles per hour out to left center, and the wind picks up dramatically within an hour. All of a sudden, it hits 11.2 miles per hour, and it closes double the power of the opening wind. It closes at 13.7 miles per hour, so it gets very windy. We got the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day in. I've copied and pasted that, and I will use that when we break down that spot. But here we go. Let's move over to the line history in this one. Again, this site's kind of messing around. Not enough programmers at this site that I've been using for a few years. But I can only tell you the opening line and where it is now. The opening line is the A's opened at plus 140. They're now plus 155. So there's been a 15-cent move to the Boston Red Sox. When we go over to the total, it opened up at 9, juiced to the over at minus 120. It's now 9.5. It's gone up a half run at minus 120. Then let's pull up where the cash lies in this one. Go over to Sports Insights and see where the cash is. While that's coming up, let me just mention a couple things. Paul Blackburn going up against Rich Hill. Blackburn has been the best thing about this Oakland A's team thus far. 5-2, 2.31 ERA, 1.01 WHIP, 66 in the third, 47 Ks, 15 walks. He's allowed just 3 home runs in 66 in the third. His last start was a 3-2 loss at Cleveland, and he was excellent again. 8 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks, and 1 walk. Going up against Rich Hill, a.k.a. Dick Mountain, 2-3, 4.38 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, 40 Ks and 49 in the third. He's allowed 7 home runs and 49 in the third. His last start was a 4-3 win at Seattle, and he was okay. 4 in the third, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks. The A's hit lefties better than righties, 221, 656 OPS. The Red Sox hit righties decent, 257, nice average, but none as much power as you'd expect from this lineup, 727 OPS. This A's bullpen is falling apart in front of us. 4.57 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, converted 13 of 23 save opportunities, and they seem to be getting worse each and every day we watch them. The Red Sox bullpen has been okay. The middle relievers, 3.65 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, but they've converted just 12 of 26 save opportunities, which is absolutely atrocious. Here we go. 10,314 tickets are already in and counted. 69% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on the Boston Red Sox, and then 55% of tickets, 64% cash on the under, yet it's gone up a half run. Take it away, Hunter Englehart. Our first game on the board pops off in less than 2 hours, A's Red Sox.
So here's another opportunity where I'm actually against everybody who's in the chat here on the Red Sox. I'm on the A's first half money line here. Hill at home. I know Jose is a Boston fan, I think, but Hill at home. I've hit a lot of bets fading Hill at home, especially with the wind blowing straight out to the monster. Hill's got an 80 ERA at home, and batting average against is 187 without runners on, 358 runners in scoring position, and 293. 293 runners in scoring position, 358 with runners on base. Lefties, he's nasty against lefties. They're only hitting 167. Righty is a 263 against him. But this Oakland lineup's got 8 right-handed batters today. On top of that, Hill is a finesse fly ball guy, and that is where the A's have their best batting average, I guess you could say, off Baseball Reference. I find all that information on. And Blackburn is an extreme ground ball pitcher. Like you mentioned, he's only given up 3 home runs over 60-something innings like that. And he actually has reverse splits. So righties hit 185 against him, lefties hit 244 against him. He's another guy, bases empty, 209, runners on, 224, scoring position, 167. So those base runners against pitching splits is one of my most weighted stat that I look at, because that can, a lot of stuff can happen. You can have walks or errors, or a guy gives up a single, and then, I mean, those numbers, in my opinion, are top. Besides lefty righty splits, are runners on base, nobody on, and scoring position. And then let's see what else I got here. I got a bunch of stuff. So A's are hitting 233 with runners on base. Sox in the first inning are hitting 287 the first inning, and then 300 the second inning. So as long as Blackburn can get through the first and second inning, I think he can finish this up, and the A's can get the A's can win the first 5 at least. Like you said, that Oakland bullpen is absolute trash right there. So that's why I'm on the A's. I got a couple other stuff, but I don't want to take too long. We got a bunch of games going.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And there's markets all over the place with this first 5 for the A's. I mean, circa hanging a plus 122.
Another stat I got here is all of Boston Red Sox batting numbers, their worst numbers are against ground ball pitchers, hitting 241 against fly balls, and average ground balls, fly balls, they're in the 260s, 270s. So it's a big swing when they're facing sinker ballers and ground ball pitchers.
Yeah, I like it.
Another thing I got on the Red Sox here is they're only hitting 200 with 2 outs. So when there's 2 outs, they're only hitting 200. and they're hitting right at 200 again for 2 outs in scoring position. And that's kind of his Blackburn's strength, or guys in scoring position and that. So that's another number that I looked at.
Moose Money saying Blackburn struggled recently, but still a good pitcher in my opinion. Not trusting this game to be his bounce back. That's from Moose Money. Ski on the first 5, under 5 in the A's, team total under 4.5. I don't know how much I trust Rich Hill here.
Yeah, the last time actually he faced Oakland. Blackburn faced the Red Sox 2 starts ago, and he just had one bad inning in the 3rd inning where leadoff double and then walk and then another double kind of started everything after that. But other than that, he threw up zeros. He gave up 1 in the 4th after that 3 spot. But other than that 3rd inning, he actually handled him pretty good at home. And Oakland actually hits better on the road too, I think by like 20 or 25 points or something like that. So
it's down to plus 122 at Circa. It's plus 133 at Pinnacle. It's plus 135 here at Bet365. So that's the best spot we can give Hunter here is the A's, unless anyone can beat that. But first 5 plus 135, and I'll check out a couple different spots. I like this look. I think this look is shrewd. Ski Profit says A's went over 4.5 runs like once in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, they have not been hitting, and this doesn't require them to do too much if Blackburn can hold his own. And we heard Peter Loshak said now I guess 9 days ago on the show. He said look for the Athletics to show more offense than the market will give them value for on the road and against lefties.
Yeah, and here's another stat that not only on the road and against lefties, but against extreme fly ball pitchers and finesse pitchers, they're hitting 261 as a team, which is 30 points higher than their average as a team. So that's another stat that kind of supports what you were just saying.
I like it. I'm extremely interested on backing the A's first 5 here at plus 135. In fact, and I know not everybody has these lines, but I'd be interested in just backing them first 3. And the first 3, I'd get plus 120 here, so 15 cents left.
Yeah, the only thing that keeps me off that is the Red Sox are hitting over 280 in the first inning, and then the second inning as a team they hit 300. So worst case scenario, that's I'd like to have 2 more bats from the A's against Hill. That's just my opinion.
No, that makes sense as well. Okay, I'm going to have more time to think about this. I imagine that our show will have ended just before this opening pitch, 1:35 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's keep rolling. So we have the chat on either side of the fence here. Ron Walsack says going with Oakland team total over his first half and full game for Ron Walsack. Ron Walsack. And if Don Reach says if you bet Blackburn road starts 0.908 whip on the road. Okay. Topset says he's trusting that Oakland sucks more. And look, Topset's been cashing nonstop, so I get it. My man, Officer of 50, Ayashi Allah says, Jimmy, we need this capper on every day, bro. I like the stats and reads. Well, let's keep rolling right along. Next up for us, 2:20 p.m. Eastern, San Diego Padres, 40-24, 23-11 on the road at the Chicago Cubs, 23-39, 11-23 at home. We're at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. We will open up with the weather in Chicago, 87 Fahrenheit, and it's blowing out very hard, 14.3 miles per hour at first pitch out to right center, and then slightly moves just to right, but it gets up to 16 miles per hour. 16 miles per hour. All right, let's go over to the line history in this one. The Musgrove Swarmers starts open with the Padres at minus 200. And right now, these Padres are at minus 180. So it's been a 20-cent move back to the Chicago Cubs. That's very interesting. Then from a total standpoint, they're giving us no information, but it's sitting right here right now at 11. That is wild. So then we move over to the cash flow in this Cubs spot. So from the Sports Insights line value side of things, they have a lot. They have 4 teams that they say offer up a lot of line value today. First off, they have the best spot on the board, Sports Insight says, is Philadelphia and Zach Wheeler. And that's also Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day. So those two correlating. Then they have the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Mariners with half line value. There's 10,856 tickets in for this afternoon spot at Wrigley. 15% of the tickets are on the Cubs and 22% of the cash. Then you have 57% of the tickets on the over and 93% of the cash on the over. Stimmy OG is on that over. Musgrove 7-0, 1.50 ERA, 0.93 WHIP. He's been electric this season. Allowed just 4 home runs in 72 innings. Last out at home versus the Rockies, they win 9-0. He goes 6 innings, 4 hits, no one runs, 8 Ks, and 2 walks. Going up against Swarmer, who was not a highly thought of prospect, but he's pitching well. He's coming off one of the worst starts that we have seen. He allowed 6 solo shots against the Yankees in an 8-0 loss. 6 of them. 6 home runs he allowed in his last start. So he has now allowed 9 home runs in 17 innings. They either hit a homer against him or they're out. There seems to be no in between for Swarmer because he's got a whip of 1 and he's only walked 3 batters in 17 innings. So they either barrel up or they walk back to the dugout. Padres are hitting 240, 679 OPS versus righties. Cubs are hitting 241, 706 OPS. Padres bullpen 3.46 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. They're starting to look like they might be elite. They're starting to look like this could be an elite bullpen, and backing them in second halves and trusting them with leads may be very beneficial for all of us. Cubs bullpen is being just falling apart. 4.95 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, 13 of 24. It was mentioned on a baseball chat I'm in. I mentioned today, I think it was CT Bays, but I don't want to quote him, but he said, they said the Cubs have forgotten how to win. Take it away here, Hunter. Do you agree with this market move towards the Cubs, and what's your plan?
I'm a little confused right now because on this game, Padres, Musgrove's been obviously dominant. And if you go back, he pitched at Wrigley Field, I believe it was 2 years ago, and he threw like 7 shutout innings or something like that, 2 hits, I think. But if you look at his batter versus pitching numbers, they're not great. I mean, Contreras, Gomes, Happ, Ortega, Simmons, they're all hitting over like 400 against him. So with the wind, I mean, I can see the Cubs having some chance here based on the plus money, worth a shot there. The only thing I tried to find stuff in this game, but the only thing that pointed to anything that was concrete to me with a good number was the first half Padres over 3.5. I just took them for 1 unit minimum bet that I have, just because, like you said, although he's got smashed against New York, 6 home runs, and over the last 3 games, the Padres averaged 1.67 home runs. So these guys they put up 19 runs last night. These guys are just chomping at the bit with the wind blowing out at Wrigley. So I don't see Swarmer getting a comeback game here, especially right-handed hitters are hitting 265 against him. What else do I got here? Lefties are hitting 161, so he's really good against lefties. But I mean, coming off a 19, what they give up? They put up 19 yesterday, and the day before they put up 12. So I mean, I think it's worth with Swarmer's numbers and the wind and the Padres just absolutely mashing the ball. I mean, you kind of got to run the streak here.
Yeah, I get it, and the market is confusing. Very confusing. Speaking of confusing, Hunter, I learned something that the chomping at the bit I've been saying and using all my life, thinking it was a horse racing term. I've recently found out that I've been using it wrong. It's champing at the bit.
I didn't even know that
shit.
How about
champing
that?
At the bit.
We learn something new here every day.
42. I've been saying it wrong my whole life. It's champing at the bit. North Ender says very confusing market here. It is a strange market where
the batter pitcher splits are keeping me off the Padres here. Like I said, I mean, I only look at first 5 stuff, but his splits against these Cubs hitters are not great at all. So that's the reason I'm just off it. I don't think there's worth enough value on first 5 -1/2 on the Padres with that. So that's just, there's more games. There's more places to win money other than this one. So that's why I just put a small ride with the hot bats.
And one thing that we saw and we see often, we talked about it yesterday on the show, why we weren't on the why I didn't move on the under after we talked about it, but why we weren't going to move on the over in the Marlins Philadelphia Phillies game is we see so often 20 runs scored in a night game, and then they have the afternoon game the next afternoon on moving day, and no runs are scored. And we saw that 8 innings of no runs scored in Philly, Miami after scoring 20 runs the day before. It's just something.
We also had some good pitchers on the mound too for Philly. So you got to put, yeah.
Not really for the Marlins. I mean, we have a pitcher who's pitched 54 innings over his last 3 seasons.
But for some reason, the Phillies always suck against the Marlins. I'm a Phillies fan. I'm from northeastern Pennsylvania, but just something about the Marlins, man, they just drives me crazy.
Contreras hitting 375, Gomes 375. So one of them will DH, one of them will catch. Wilson against Musgrove hitting 429, Hayward hitting 286, and Drelton Simmons hitting 429. I
mean, the run line is still negative 125 is juice for full game, and then minus 150 for the first half run. I mean, it's not worth it in my opinion.
The first half team total over 3.5 minus 103 at Pinnacle, minus 102 was found at Bookmaker. So shout out to our guy who keeps us with the tightest lines, because it's difficult for you guys to give out lines that are available to bet right now. So shout out to Billy Friedrich for finding that. Philly San Diego first half team total over 3.5 at minus 102. So that's official for you?
Yeah, just small one unit min bet.
All right, and Matty Ice has come in as well. So it's another situation where we have Ron Crawford and Matty Ice, unbeknownst to each other, on the same play of the day. We'll get to that one here, and that is the Philadelphia game. All right, we are rolling. We have 2 more afternoon games before we get into night games. Our man Hunter Englehart has moved on both of those first 2 games. He's on the A's first 5 at plus 135, and he's on the Padres first half team total over 3.5. First 5, I should say, not first half. Sorry, it's they call it first half at Pinnacle. It gets my head. First 5 team total over 3.5. All right. Zadaras says, why is there money coming in on the Cubs? The only angle we could see is the batter versus pitcher stats against Musgrove. Other than that, and the fact that the Padres haven't hit a swarmer. But we've already been told that it's their full lineup in. So let's just make sure that we'll just quickly read off that lineup here. And it is confirmed for the Padres: Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Voit, Hosmer, Nomar Mazara in right field, Nola, Grisham, and Alcantara at short. For the Cubs, Morel, Contreras, Happ, Wisdom, Ortega, Horner, VR, Hayward, and Drelton. So Gomes is not going to DH. Then Ian Happ is DHing. So the Gomes, you have a bat off the bench, I guess, with Gomes. Okay, and Matty Ice, we see how hot you are running, my man. So love to hear that. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, 3:07 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles, 27-37, 12-22 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays, 37-25, 20-11 at home. We're at Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. Let's start with this. And you know what? The roof may not. I don't know if the roof is actually going to be open. There's a storm that's supposed to come in. It doesn't say that here. It said that when we were checking the weather for Ella to go to school. There's supposed to be a storm between 1 and 3. And we have here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, we have thunderstorm coming. Can you look at the Ballpark Pal and see if that they're expecting? Because if it's all minus, then they will be expecting the roof to be closed. So, what? Okay, Jose will be coming in here in a second to let us know. Okay, he's bolting. He just bolted the studio. I don't know what the hell's going on. He'll be back here in a second. Interesting. Big show picks heading down to San Antonio. Remember, UFC Austin this weekend. We're going to be all over it. Pub Sports Radio going to be all over it. Anybody in the area, go hang with our crew over at...
It's Plus.
It's Plus. I think that might be a mistake.
Yeah.
I really
Hunter,
do.
nice to meet you.
Say what?
I said, hello, Hunter. Nice to meet you. And by the way, Hunter's been on the show before.
It's been, I mean, I've been doing this with you, Jimmy, for what, 5 years or so, 6 years on and off. So it's
Sports Radio.
I think I've only been on maybe less than 5 times, definitely since you and I first started 6 years ago. But I've cabbed with you for a long time. Love cabbing, but this season debut here, Jose.
Right.
And
I just remembered when I was doing I watched the 2021 year in review. I was like, oh, look, it's Hunter.
And tell us about this new jersey that you're wearing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we told you before, and I said that when my beloved Pirates swept the fucking Dodgers, that I would buy my Tupaquicha Marcano jersey, and we're rocking it, We got it going. I'm probably the only person in America that has a Tupaquicha Marcano jersey, but we ride. And Jimmy, my voice is a little scratchy tonight, but you know what we have to do, Jimmy. Hunter, you might not know this.
I know what you have to do,
Hunter. When you're in doubt and you don't know what to do in life, you look at a baseball card. What do I do? You reach into your back pocket, you pull out your flag, and you raise it. Let's go fuck up.
Right. Okay, let's get to work here.
Always shows up in a big way.
So look at those of you guys who are talking about overs here. And Ski saying, thought about Jay's team total over 4.5. Jay's 5+ runs, 17 of the last 20. Third in weighted runs created last 2 weeks. First right-handed pitching. Baltimore allowing 5 or more, 5 of their last 7. Why is it 4.5 though? I think that the ballpark pal and the expectations that this roof will be open might be wrong. And so we should get to the beat writer in MLB before you bet this game. And find out if that roof, because if the roof is closed, that ball just does not carry, and it's could be one of the reasons that's 4.5. And I don't know if that's the case, but it's very, very important. And there's CT Bays on the first 5 under. Mike M on Baltimore plus 1.5 in the first half under. Okay, Tyler Wells on the bump, 3-4, 3.86 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. I've been impressed with him of late. He's coming off a quality start against the light hitting Royals in a stadium that's not conducive to offense. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks, but he's pitching well right now. Now his K to walk ratio, I mean, he can't get the big strikeout, but he gets soft contact. Going up against Kevin Gausman, 5-5, 2.67 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 77 Ks and 70 2/3, 10 walks, 2 home runs. Gausman it looked like he was tipping his pitches. We thought he was tipping his pitches 2 starts ago. In his last start, he went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and 3-1 loss to the Tigers. He pitched well. Orioles are hitting 228, 680 OPS versus righties. Blue Jays 254, 743 OPS. This Orioles bullpen has been so good, so surprisingly good this year. 3.29 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, converted 13 of 18 save opportunities, while the Jays bullpen is not good, vulnerable. CT Bay says Mancini is out. No Jays lineup yet. So let's just quickly go over the line history in this Jays spot. We have the Jays opening up at minus 270. They're now minus 260. I never really saw that. I've only seen them at minus 260 the whole time, but I guess it opened at minus 270. This total opened up at 8.5, juice to the under, minus 115. It's now at a pick'em. And when we look over at where the cash lies in this spot, we have 10,819 tickets in. Listen to this, 13% of the tickets and 44% of the cash is on the Baltimore Orioles against Gausman, who was an Oriole. He would back and forth between stud and gas can nonstop when he was an Oriole. Then we have 26% of the tickets on the under, but 67% of the cash. Very interesting market here. Take it away, Hunter Englehart, O's Jays.
So I am in the exact position that you are right here. I have over 4.5 question mark, over 8 question mark, roof question mark. So everything that you said is something that I needed to get the answer to, but I'm leaning towards the over either way. I haven't placed anything yet, but Gausman coming off a rough start, like you said, against the Twins. Righties are hitting 296 off him, lefties 228. His problem has been the start to games. He first time through the order numbers for a starting pitcher are usually pretty good. And his are 262 first time through the order, then 243 second time, 282 the third time. And he's another guy who has increased situational splits. So that's when I'm talking about runners on base, nobody on, and runners in scoring position. So nobody on base, guys are hitting 264, runners on 267, and when runners are in scoring position, they're hitting 345 against them with almost 800 OPS. So I'm assuming the game plan for the O's is going to be swing early and swing often. Gausman has had some minor location issues a little bit, like you were saying, but the O's actually, their best hitting numbers are when they swing early. They hit 304 leading off every inning, 309 on first pitches, 1-0 counts, they're hitting 369, 0-1 counts, they're hitting 329 as a team. So when they swing early and they don't wait, I guess you could say, and attack pitchers and swing is when they do the most damage. So if I had to pick one, I would more lean towards the 4.5 over. And Wells, his splits aren't great except against left-handed hitters. They're hitting 207. Nothing else really stands out against me for Wells to have a really, really good outing. Righties are hitting 260, and he's the same guy. Situational splits increase from 225, no one on, 257, and then 316 with runners in scoring position. So if I had to pick one without knowing if the roof was open, I'd definitely be over the 4.5. If the roof is open, then I'm definitely going to be over 4.5.
Okay, so if you end up moving on it, if you could tweet that out and tag me so I could retweet it, and then we'll make that an official edition. Is that how we work?
We'll do. Sounds
Beautiful.
good.
Beautiful. All right, so a lean towards that. It was lean towards the first 5 over 4.5.
Yeah.
Lean towards the first 5 over 4.5. Robert Franklin bet the over 8. By the way, Billy Friedrich found that team total for the Padres at plus money, at plus 100. That first half team total over 3.5. So we've got that locked in for you. Puzzler, though, says, with a severe thunderstorm watch, I imagine they'll have it closed. And then he says high winds predicted, which may affect closing. Well, you know what that tells me? That tells me, Puzzler, that I should, when this show's over, I should just go for a little drive. Take me just 5 minutes. I bet you the roof's closed right now. So I think that Ballpark Pal and some of these other sites might be hurting gamblers with and these things are so crucial to our angles. So it's important that we've talked about it. We're still 3 hours away from game time, and we will figure that out. Matty Ice, by the way, his taint play today yesterday was the Jays' first 5 minus 1.5 and minus 110, which cashed easily, and the full game minus 1.5 did not cash. Spectacular work from Matty Ice. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland and RotoWire says closed. So there it is. So I expect that, I think we should even stop talking about it. The roof's going to be closed. That's why there's the 4. That's why it's moving to the under. It's going to be closed, and the ball is not going to carry. WT says, isn't there a live webcam? Good call. So we'll get some. Let's see if Jose, can you see if there is a live webcam on because if the roof's closed, it's staying closed. We got Jose on it, best producer in the business here. Ask him anything, and he produces it. I have to show this every day. Hunter, I don't know if you saw Jose's last work, but for Dylan Bundy Day, we celebrate, and this was recently made for us by Jose. And you know what the wildest part of it? He has no idea who Al Bundy is. It's very sad. Very, very sad. Jose Bouquet. Okay. Matt Story says roof's on fire. Okay, let's stay focused here. Cleveland Guardians 31-27, 15-17 on the road at the Colorado Rockies, 27-36, 16-18 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. We have Tristan McKenzie going up against Chad Kuhl. Chad Kuhl had that spectacular start against, I believe it was Max Fried, right? It was Fried and Kuhl completely putting up donuts and donuts and donuts. He went 6 innings without allowing a run. And then Kuhl came crashing back to earth at San Diego against the Padres, but he's faced the Braves Padres back-to-back, and the Padres are just raking everybody. Last start, Kuhl went 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 1 K, 5 walks, 9-0 loss at the Padres. And Topset says Cleveland is my top play today. That was a great call. CT Base, you're absolutely right. The Jays could open the roof during the game. That's always an option here. Okay. Going up against Tristan McKenzie, who is a very talented pitcher. Now he's coming off a home start against the A's, so it's not the best judge. And wrong hole play of the day is Cleveland run line. Yes, that is the love and marriage. Ski, come on, man. Christina Applegate, God, she was so hot back then. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 solo shots, 6 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-2 win at home over the A's. The Guardians versus righties, 256, 726 OPS. Make a lot of contact, as we broke down yesterday. Rockies versus righties, just 247, 687 OPS. The big difference here is the bullpen. A huge, huge bullpen advantage for the Guardians, whose bullpen has been elite all year. 2.90 ERA, 1.07 whip, converted 14 of 19 save percentages. Don Max says even in McKenzie's decent outing against Oakland, he was smashed. 95% medium to hard contact, not going to work at Coors. Moose Money says Padres hitting him at home is different than the Padres hitting him on the road. Rest of those games, Padres didn't hit. All right, let's go up to the line history and the weather, and then hand it over to Hunter. First off, in Colorado, it's 86 Fahrenheit, 6 miles per hour, right to left across the diamond. Then we'll go over to the line history in this one here. Sorry, very quickly. Cool opened at plus 115. So the Guardians were minus 135 on the opener. Now they are minus 140. So a 5-cent move towards Guardians, not much. This total opened up at 11.5 at minus 105, and it's 11.5 as a pick'em. So very, very small market moves in this one. And we have 7,666 tickets in, 35% of the tickets, 60% of the cash on Cool and the Rockies. 49% of tickets and 85% of cash on the under, but we see no market movement towards that. Let's hear what Hunter Englehart has to say about this spot, Guardians Rockies.
So this was another one that I was kind of waiting to see. The first half under 6 had some negative juice on it, and now I'm looking and you can get it for plus 100. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I wanted to talk about this one with you guys and see what the chat box thought about it. But I'm a big McKenzie guy. I think he's got elite stuff. I just think he's figuring the big leagues out and figuring how to be an elite pitcher and learning those lessons because he's got elite stuff. So I do like the under in this game. As far as the splits go, the only thing that really worries me is his McKenzie's past 2 outings. He's given up 2 home runs against Oakland, 3 home runs against Baltimore, then 2 home runs against Detroit, another home run against Houston, Minnesota to start before that, 2 home runs. So that is what is making me not pull the trigger as far as on the under right there. So, I mean, lefty-righty splits, 119 lefties, 207 righties. He's another guy whose situation goes up. So 0.164, no one on, runners on 200, and then scoring position 300. It's hard with the Rockies at home because they love hitting at home too as well. But the other thing about that, his situation numbers go up, but his innings pitched through the order goes down, which you don't really see very often. Hitters are hitting 191 first time against them, 160 second time, and then third time through the order 167. So that's very rare to see that low numbers as far as times through the order for a starting pitcher. So I'm on the fence on this one, but I want to use everybody, and let's see if we could find stuff that hints towards first half under, in my opinion.
It is now plus 102. That first half under 6 is 102. Billy Friedrich says McKenzie's road splits a tad worse and Cool's home splits a tad better. Don Max says McKenzie's all of a sudden the pitch to contact guy this year. Says he needs to bring back some of his K stuff. JPC says McKenzie's first game at Coors. Not a good place to have a problem with the long ball. How does that affect your capping his first game at Coors?
I don't think. I mean, obviously, it does affect that he's never pitched there. But the other thing is he's kind of like a swag style guy who's confident and thinks he's the best when he's out there. So he hasn't been rocked there to figure out to be scared of, if that makes sense. So I think that is an advantage, is he hasn't gotten rocked there to have those doubts in his head. So I think that actually helps him never pitching there more than it does hurt him. But right now, like the Cleveland first 5 batting averages and numbers are okay. They only hit over 300 in the 3rd inning as a team. The rest are all under 240. And then the Rockies, as far as the first 5 innings, they're one over 300 in the 5th inning, and then in the 3rd inning they're hitting 260. So nothing crazy that supports the over, in my opinion, other than those home runs and that sort of thing. So it's interesting that 87% of the money, like you said, is on the under, which kind of makes me feel better about having an urge to bet the first half under.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to the Canadian news story. We're talking about the weather here on the 6 today. It looks like it's going to rain today, so I'm assuming the weather and the roof will be closed today in the Rogers Center, eh?
Okay. All right. So roof closed in Toronto. Roof closed confirmation from a Canadian weatherman. I'm not sure.
Have you seen that show on Netflix with the Mike Myers? That
No,
I forget what it's called. It's a Netflix show. It's like about this like elite secret society. It's all about like making fun of Canada and stuff. It's pretty funny. I have to check it out.
I watch no fiction whatsoever. I couldn't care less. That's I just can't do it. Can't fucking do it. Just want to have action. That's the only and now I'm just laser focused after losing money yesterday. Got to get that money. Remo says that's his best work to date from Jose Bouquet there. All Jose Zenyatta Bouquet. I think this under makes sense. Let's quickly touch on roof closed, Baltimore, Toronto. You wouldn't switch from an over first five or first five over 4.5 to an under because the roof's closed. You would just stay off the over.
Yeah. And I still very well might place it. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. Guardians, Rockies, I can understand why you think that there's a good opportunity for first five under here. I get it. So Guardians, Rockies, the Dom moved on the under 6.5. That under 6.5 is available at Pinnacle minus 121. It's plus money on the 6. Is there a move that you are going to make here, or you want to hold off at this point?
Oh, no, I won't touch anything over 110 odds.
No, but do you want the under 6 at plus 102?
We'll come back before I leave. I'll think about it before the show ends.
Under 6. We move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. We've left the afternoon action. So afternoon action. Hunter's moved on the A's first 5 at plus 135. I like that look a lot. I'm interested in it. He's also on the Padres first 5 team total over 3.5 at plus 100. Again, sticking to his season-long plan of all plus money situations, no VIG. And Orioles, Jays, he's off, and he had a lean towards the over 4.5, but we believe the roof will be closed. And he's interested in the under 6, first 5 under 6 in Cleveland, Colorado. All right, we move on to night action, and we have just the perfect way to get rolling because we have reached the corner of Spreadsheet and Taint Boulevard. Oh my goodness. I forgot to mention off the top and I wanted to. It is a man that we love dearly's birthday today. He's going to be doing it up heavy. That is DJ Big Boss. It is his birthday today. You know he's going to be surrounded by the hottest of seniors all night long. And he's going to join our show tomorrow. Maybe he'll bring a few of them with him, but it is DJ Big Boss's birthday. We want to wish you a happy birthday, and I know so many women around the world also want to wish him a happy birthday. So just so much love for you, not just from female seniors, but from all of us here. Happy birthday to DJ Big Boss. We love you. There we go. All right. Happy birthday, DJ Big Boss. Now, with that little breakdown, we have reached the corner of Spreadsheet and Taint Boulevard here on Betting with the Bag, both making moves on the Philadelphia Phillies. And that has to excite lots of us. First, shout out to Matty Ice and Sweet Sweet Taint. And, of course, Ron Crawford, star the Spreadsheet play of the day. And just for fun, we'll add Dennis Trusty to the mix.
Oh, I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
All right, let's get to work here. And shout out to Joe Hill. Happy birthday to our guy, Joe Hill. as well. So we have the Taint full game run line -1.5, -125. Spreadsheet is on the -1. And happy birthday to Joe Hill and to DJ Big Boss. Let's talk about this spot. Zach Wheeler looking very good of late. Coming off a 4-0 win at home versus Arizona. Went 6 innings to it. No runs, 8 Ks, no walks. He's got a 2.84 ERA now, 1.09 whip on the year. Going up against Patrick Corbin, 6.65 ERA, 1.73 whip. There is no such thing as a get-right start for Patrick Corbin. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 Ks, 2 walks. The 8-6 win at home versus Milwaukee. These Phillies rake lefties, 252, 772 OPS. Nationals versus righties. 252, 701 OPS. Phillies bullpen, 4.24 ERA, 1.44 whip, but have converted 13 of 20, which is not awful. Nationals bullpen, 4.59 ERA, 1.40 whip, have converted 9 of 14. So we will start with the weather in Washington, and it is humid. 84 Fahrenheit, feels like 92, 9.6 miles per hour out to left center. Then we'll take a look at the line history in this one. Wheeler, Corbin. Wheeler opened up at -220, and he is now at -200. So there's been a 20-cent move back. The Nats have gone from +180 to +170, and we are not getting any information on the total here, sadly. But we know that it's at 9 right now, -120 to the over. Maybe I'll bring up the Action Network because we can trust them. Then we'll take a look at the cash flow in this Nats spot. And as I said, they're giving full line value to the Phillies. 81% of the tickets, 90% of the cash, but the market with reverse line movement is strange. 81% of tickets and 83% cash on the over. Take it away here, Hunter. First night game. We got Taint and Spreadsheet both on the Phillies. Phillies, Nats. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is no-brainer, solely based on how bad Corbin is. It's not only how bad he is, but how bad he is when he pitches against the Phillies. I mean, whether it's at Citizens Bank Park or home, I mean, you can look at all of his numbers over the past years, and they're just absolutely terrible. And the Phillies, they're not hot right now, but they're just coming off being hot. They're finally starting to get together and realize that, you know, they are as good as they should be. And then you look at Corbin's splits. I mean, 361 against lefties, 300 against righties, 8 ERA at home, or 7.5 ERA at home. It's just all numbers point towards Philly here, but at -150 first half, -0.5, or just too big for me. However, sometimes like with these lines, I'll do like a 2-game parlay and I'll parlay that with something else. But if I had to bet, I would 100% put all my money on the day if I had to bet. Aside in this one, it would be the Phillies. Everything points towards that.
And the Phillies first 5 -1 would still cost you -114. So it is expensive. It is expensive. Our man Piker saying, I'm ignoring some things from a line move perspective to fade Corbin. Dom Ricci has the Phillies' first 5 in this game under 5, and Rocky's first 5 under 6.5. He got a -115, Mets -125, and Mariners +113 for Domigun. Topset says, why is this line not -250? Why would there be a market move to Corbin and the Nats? Do you see any angle that would support that?
Yeah, Wheeler's stats against right-handed pitchers is over 100 points higher in average on base percentage, slugging, and 200 points almost higher in OPS against right-handed hitters. Right. So I mean, that's really the only thing that I can see so far as that goes. So, I mean, it looks like they have seven of the 9 projected starters are right-handed hitters. So that's the only thing that I see.
Juan Soto hitting .314 against him, 35 at-bats, 2 homers, both solo shots.
Yeah, and his situation stats go up to 219, nobody on, 240, runners on, 286 with guys in scoring position.
Big shout out to Dabby Cab on his way down to San Antone for the big weekend ahead for Pub Sports Radio over at UFC Austin. I love it. Okay, well, God, I feel like that first 5 -1 should end up on my card at this point. We have Taint and spreadsheet both on the Phillies, but it's expensive and there is reverse line movement, so there's some negatives. Let's move on to the number one team in baseball by a long way right now. The Yankees, 46-16, and at home they're 28-7. And they have been taking care of the Tampa Bay Rays, and there's not a weak starter among them. This team is rolling, and I'm just been waiting for injuries to come and for that 6-game losing streak. Maybe it's not going to come. It's got to come. It's got to come, right? It has to come at some point. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Let's start with the weather in New York. Here we have 71 Fahrenheit, 12.8 miles per hour, right to left. Then we go over to the line history in this Yankees spot. Here, they're not giving it to me. So I did pull up the Action Network. So we'll just go there and use the Action Network here. The Yankees opened up. Wow. They're saying that offshore the Yankees opened up at minus 160. That's what the Action Network is saying. Which would mean that there's up to a 95-cent move. That's hard to fathom that they would open up as that big of a favorite. This total opened up, that small of a favorite. The total opened up at 8. There's now a bunch of 7.5s on the board, but you can still find an 8. Let's see what it is over here at Bet365. The Yankees are at minus 250, and yes, the total has moved to 7.5, but is plus 105 to the under. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this Yankees spot. 7,275 tickets in, 65% of the tickets, 69% of the cash on the Yankees. Then 25% of the tickets, 76% of cash on the under. So market moving, and it makes sense. It's a bullpen day for the Tampa Bay Rays, and this bullpen day is pitching so well. 3 ERA now, 1.15 whip, but have just converted 18 of 31 save opportunities. And we talk a lot about that because to nail down saves usually costs the team money. To have an elite closer who can handle that kind of pressure. The Rays don't spend the money on their bullpen, so their middle relief is excellent. Jalen Beeks, 1-1, 1.38 ERA, 1 whip, 32 Ks in 26 innings, allowed 3 home runs. Going up against Luis Severino, coming off a 2-1 extra inning victory at home versus the Cubs. He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, solo shot, 10 Ks and 1 walk. He's been so good this year. 2.80 ERA, 1.03 whip. Rays are hitting just 225, 662 OPS versus righties. And if they don't turn that around, it could cost them a playoff spot. Yankees versus lefties, 242, 761 OPS, but they're only going to see Beeks for an inning. And the Yankees bullpen has better stats overall than the Rays bullpen. Both bullpens are excellent. Take it away here. Well, there's DJ Big Boss in the house after we gave him the birthday love. Happy birthday, DJ Big Boss. Take it away here, Hunter. Rays, Yankees.
I didn't move on this game at all, but if I had to, the under 4 at right at plus 100 or plus 105 in between that range enticed me a little bit to look into it. But then with Beeks only being an opener, I really don't like playing games that have openers, even though the Yankees are hitting only like 220 against lefties. So they hit really bad against lefties, but I just wish that Beeks would throw, or if they at least told me he'd throw at least 3 innings, that would help. But as far as plays go, I'm not on any, but if I had to, I'd be on the first 5 under 4 at plus 100.
Yeah, I get why you would be on that first 5 under 4 at plus 100. Wow, nice no vig situation here. I get it. I don't see how I don't move. Like, what's keeping you off the Rays at plus 210 here? I mean, we're talking implied probability. Isn't this a perfect? Not perfect, obviously, but with this Rays team, I guess they're just 500 on the road. They haven't been that good. But if we look at the implied probability of a 210, I mean, with this bullpen pitching so well, isn't there a 32.26% chance that the Rays win this baseball game?
I mean, there's definitely value on the full game and on the first, as far as, from an odds wise. But I mean, you look at Severino's numbers, they decrease situations with nobody on, runners on, and then first, second, and third time through the order, they also decrease dramatically. So as far as jumping on value here, You got 8 other games that you're into, but I wouldn't hate taking. I wouldn't tell you not to take them, if that makes sense.
I just plus 210 just seems like such a giant opportunity, and I can understand why it went from 8 to 7.5. And the first 5 under 4 with no vig does seem very appealing. And again, the weather is right to left, so it's not. It's a pretty nice situation. Roger, that says Rays have 0 offense, and Billy Friedrich mentioning how Big Boss shares a birthday with Tupac, so good company. Cheshire Cat says don't do it. I don't know, man. I have interest in it. I honestly.
Yeah, it looks like the Rays are hitting 198 against power pitchers with a 278 on base percentage, which isn't great.
No, it certainly isn't. And then we have the consecutive home starts for Severino, which is a nice spot to be in. Mad Stoney says, don't do it. Remember Detroit yesterday. Look, I'm not going to only remember a 13-0 win that has nothing to do, 13-0 loss that has nothing to do with this game, Mad Stoney. But thank you for that. Thank you for that pleasant memory. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Milwaukee Brewers 35-29, 20-17 on the road at the New York Mets 41-23, 20-9 at home. We're at Citi Field in Queens, New York. Yes, I remember McClanahan, and it was not good. It was an awful day for me yesterday. 2-5, look, man. I'm not hiding from it. Aaron Ashby going up against Tyler McGill. Aaron Ashby 1-5, 3.91 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. I like Ashby. I think he's a good pitcher, but he's coming off a terrible start at Washington, where he went 4 2/3 and allowed 13 hits and 6 earned runs. McGill coming off an ugly start as well at the Angels. He went 3 1/3. 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk. Brewers versus righties, 236, 717 OPS. Just watch that number continue to drop because they have 1-9. Every hitter in that lineup's batting 220. And I didn't get it when they went up to 763, 770 OPS versus righties. I was like, how is this happening? I expect them to continue to plummet. Mets versus lefties, not that good. 247, 704 OPS. Both bullpens were supposed to be really good this year. Brewers bullpen especially, and they're just 3.71 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. 24 of 32 converted save opportunities. Mets bullpen 3.76 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, converted 16 of 26 save opportunities. Imagine that the weather will be very similar here at Citi. We have 70 Fahrenheit and 14.2 miles per hour out to left center. Very heavy, goes down to 13.6. Very heavy wind out to left center. And wow, look at that. DJ Big Boss says, hopefully I'm going to get the greatest birthday gift sometime today. I will be getting a newborn baby granddaughter. That's so wonderful, Big Boss. I love your family so much. You have the sweetest family in the game, man. And we want you guys to multiply. So more Big Boss family on the way. I love that. Please keep us in the loop so we can celebrate with you, my man. CT Bay says Mets beating lefty starters lately. Let's take a look at the line movement here in this one, or the line history, I should say, and then we'll look where the cash lies. And here we go with this Mets spot. We have the Mets opening up at minus 140, and now they are sitting at minus 135, so a 5-cent move towards the Brew Crew. Then we look at the total. Total was minus 120 to the over, 7.5. It's moved up to 8 and it's juiced to the over at minus 115. And then we'll take a look at the cash flow here in this Mets spot. We have, here we go. We have half line value said by Sports Insights on the Milwaukee Brewers, 8,322 tickets in. 17% of the tickets, 27% of the cash on the Brewers, 87% of tickets, 94% cash on the over. Take it away here, Hunter. Brew Crew versus the Mets.
So I'm on the Mets first half, minus a half. The Mets have just been crushing the ball lately. Right now, over the past 7 days, they're hitting 275 as a team, which is insane. And like some of the chat box said, that they've been doing good against lefty starters, and their numbers against lefties have been getting a lot better. So you look at that. I think Ashby's going to have a rough time today with this Mets team. I mean, 1 through 9. I mean, this Mets team is dangerous, and we've seen the way the Brewers are playing. Once they get behind or stuff doesn't go their way, they've been folding, or I guess you could say just they don't have that spark, and they're not going to get it at home. I mean, they're not going to get it in New York City as well. I think the only chance they have to get that spark and kind of fight through stuff is at home. But as far as the New York Mets at home, when I can get -0.5 for, I think I got it for +15 or somewhere around there, I'm going to take it with Ashby. And I'm a big McGill guy. I know he's coming back, but I mean, this guy in the beginning of the season was pitching for his life, and it just shows you how good he could be. Righties are hitting 185 against him, lefties 284. So everything points to the Mets for me here with a big over +110 line.
And that's what you're getting at +110 at circa +109 here.
Yeah, I got it. I think I got it at +115 earlier, but whatever it's at now is.
If I get over 8, take it now, says Dommy Gunn. The second start off of the injury. Big spot for Tylor at home. Mets first 5 -0.5 at +110 for Hunter. Bo Jackson says Mets money line, they look great. Chris Ricardo says Marte may be out of the lineup, but plus money is the play here. North Ender says, I love this Mets team. Robert Franklin on the over 8 and the Mets money line. Mets have only lost twice after a loss and have never lost 3 in a row all season. Billy Friedrich says Mets 8-2 on the run line, last 10 at home. Tommy Gunn says we stayed off Mets yesterday to wait for this spot.
Yeah, the only thing here is they got to win this game to win the series too, and the Mets, take pride in winning their series. So that's just another thing where they really want to win this game to take 2 out of 3. So.
I like it. CT Bay says Mets 21-5 after a loss, and he did. He said in the comment section yesterday, he said the Mets are his team, so he said we would lose yesterday and win today. Mets money line. Paul Tribby says Mets money line is value too. Billy Friedrich found that at +12, a bookmaker. Thank you so much, Billy, my man. And Don Max says actually looks great first time through the order, and then starts getting clobbered. So let's just look at this money one more time. Here we have 17 and 27 in perceived line value with the Brewers, but Cheshire Cat says Mets is my jam. Okay. I find that a very appealing opportunity to move on the Mets as well. I'm going to think about that a little more. Robert Franklin says last start from McGill was his first off injury. I think McGill looks better here. Mets here, first 5. McGill, the better pitcher and offense. And JR finding a +116 at FanDuel. Thank you, JR. All right, we move on. We have 2 games left on the card before we get into NBA. We go to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers 29-33, 15-15 on the road at the Detroit Tigers 24-38, 16-20 at home at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. It is 90 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 14.5 miles per hour, right to left, slightly out, and then becomes slightly tiny bit in by the end of the game. But right to left is what we're dealing with weather-wise. Let's take a look at the market line history here in Detroit. Martin Perez versus Brisk. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's Brisky. I went over it before his last start, but I didn't in this one. Tigers open up at +120 here, and now they are at +140. So a 20-cent move towards Martin Perez and the Texas Rangers. This total sitting at 8.5. Let's go to Action Network and see if that is moved at all. That was that opened at 8.5 at a pick'em, which is pretty much where it is right now. And they have Action Network has the line for the Rangers opening up at -126 offshore. Or sorry, on Legal American Books, -126 up to -160 right now. And then let's take a look at the cash in this Rangers spot. 7,578 tickets in, 81% of the tickets, 95% of the cash on the Rangers, and then 61% of the tickets, 59% of the cash on the under. Take it away here, Hunter. Rangers at Tigers.
So I'm on Rangers first half under 4.5 on this game here. I think this Bo Brusek or however you say it. I mean, he's playing pretty good baseball right now. He started against New York at New York, pitched 6 innings, only gave up 2 earned runs. It looks like 2 home runs there, and then against Toronto, he pitched 5.2 scoreless. Detroit is a big park. It plays big, even though where wind does help, but Detroit plays very big as far as the long ball goes, and lefties are hitting 169 against him. And this Texas Rangers team has about 4, sometimes 5 lefties. So majority of that lineup, he's going to be facing his strength there as far as reverse splits guy. And then Martin Perez has just been killing it on the road. 5 starts on the road, 1.85 ERA. I mean, his righty lefty splits are his lefties hit him a little harder at 264 than righties at 262 as far as that goes. But I like under 4.5 here. If it was at 4, I'd be kind of wary of it. But with 4.5, and I mean 5 runs in 5 innings with these 2 pitchers, and being in Detroit, with it being real hot too, all points towards first half under.
First half under 4.5. Yeah, he looked very good against the Jays. And he's being impressive. And this is not a highly thought of prospect. The Tigers have so many of them in their rotation. This is a 27th rounder that's kind of succeeded. I don't want to say out of nowhere, but minus 105 on the under 4.5 over at Pinnacle. Let's see what we can get you at circa here in this Rangers.
Yeah, and the Tigers are hitting 200 over the past 14 days. Looks like 207 over the last 7 days.
Yeah,
so they've been struggling.
Atrocious. Under 4.5 we find here. Yes, Drew Daddy. Can you or Mr. Englehart explain what reverse splits mean, please? Yes, Hunter's talked about it a few different times here in the spot. You want to answer that, Hunter?
Yeah, sure. Reverse splits are usually like you want a right-handed pitcher against a left-handed batter from a batting perspective. So all their off-speed stuff comes into you instead of moving away. So as a batter, you always want a righty-lefty matchup, and as a pitcher or defensive team, you always want a lefty-lefty matchup or righty-righty matchup. So generally, you'll have, if you're a right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitters will hit higher against you numbers wise than right-handed hitters, where the same goes for the opposite, where left-handed pitchers will get hit harder by right-handed batters. So reverse splits is when left-handed batters are actually better for the pitcher number wise than right-handed batters. So that's why it's called reverse splits.
Well done. Well put. And CT Bay's Swish Analytics is not giving us that that wind. It has slightly out to the left field pole in the first hour, but that changes to less and less, and then by 2 hours into the game, it's slightly in. So I have that. Don Max says that Brisky's expected stats are so bad. Says I ignored them for Faedo and it hurt me. But let's see, I'm tailing the under 4.5 here. I think Martin Perez will help a lot. And CT Bay saying that Tigers' best bats are right-handed. They're going to struggle with the changeup from Martin Perez as well. I like that look.
Yeah, the side is definitely the Rangers here. It's just a matter of, can Perez give up less than 2 runs in 5 innings. I think if Perez gives up less than 2 runs, I think we shouldn't need as much out of Brisky. But Brisky's numbers do indicate that he could very well pitch 5 or 6 innings and only give up 2 runs in this spot. So with that number being at 4.5, that half run is big for me.
Yeah, no, I like it. Let's see what I would get offered here if I went in on it as well. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's roll on to the last game on the card, and then we will do a review before we move on to NBA. 10:10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Angels 29-35, 12-17 on the road at the Seattle Mariners, 28-35, 14-14 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. We will start with the weather in Seattle. 66 Fahrenheit, 6.6 miles per hour out to right field. By the 2 hours into the game, it becomes almost fully left to right. Then we'll talk about this line history in this one here. Ohtani, Kirby, they're not giving us anything in their old site, so we'll go over to Action to see if they can help us figure out the line history in this one. We have almost no movement, a tiny bit of movement to the Angels, 2 cents to 5 cents of these books. And the total at 7 was the best line you could find. It was a plus 100 to the under. There's still plus 100s out there. So it's still slightly juiced to the over. So very little movement here. Let's see what the cash tells us in this Ohtani Kirby start. Excuse me. They're giving half line value over to Kirby. 4,640 tickets in. 30% of the tickets, 34% of the cash on the Mariners. Then 54% of tickets, 67% of cash on the very low under. All right, let's talk a little bit, set a table, and then hand it over to Hunter. Shohei Ohtani going up against George Kirby. Ohtani, 3.64 ERA, but a 1.12 whip. Just 13 walks and 54 in the third with 71 Ks, but has allowed 8 home runs in those 54 in the third. Coming off a nice start at home versus the Red Sox. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks. Kirby looked good early in this rookie season of his, but he's not looked very good lately. 7-6 win at home versus Boston in his last start, and he went 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, and 4 Ks. So he got touched a little bit, but still a quality. Oh, not quite a quality start. He only went 5 innings. Angels versus righties, 241, 727 OPS. Mariners versus righties, 241, 710 OPS. That number for the Mariners is improving. And both bullpens have struggled this year. Angels 4.17 ERA, 1.21 whip, converted 15 of 25, or 15 of 28, excuse me. And the Mariners bullpen 4.27 ERA, 1.20 whip, converted 11 of 18. Take it away here, Hunter. The last game on the Thursday card in MLB, Angels Mariners.
So yeah, I'm not on this game, but I think there is value on the Angels first half -0.5 around -120. It looks like. So I think the value is definitely there, especially with the Seattle. Like you said, Ohtani's had some home run problems, but Seattle only averages like 1.06 home runs a game, and then at home they average a little more than on the road at 1.1 per game. But they're hitting against hard throwers. Power pitchers, they're hitting 184, which is probably the lowest I've seen just off the top of my head as far as numbers against power pitching. So over the past 7 days, they're hitting 209. So this Ohtani could very well come out and throw like 8 scoreless innings here and maybe like 2 hits if he's on. So if I can get them at ±0.5, I definitely think there's value there if it's plus in the plus 120s. As far as Kirby goes, I mean, he's been okay, but he hasn't really faced anybody good. I mean, he's faced the Red Sox twice. He's faced the Mets once, gave up 3 runs in 4 innings. Other than that, he's faced the Texas Rangers, gave up 2 runs, and Oakland. He got shelled by Oakland at home. So other than that, it's just not enough for me to jump on it. But I mean, everything points towards the Angels here first half.
That first half -0.5 of Pinnacle is plus 108. You were saying you were looking for a little more than that to move on them?
Yeah. I'm not. I have enough action today. I tried to get myself a little more action because I was on the show. But it's 10-10. So I mean, we'll see how the first half of games go. And this is the thing about these late games is sometimes when there's day games and stuff like that. If you're 3-1 or you've won a lot, then these games here that are in the middle. Or at the end of the night, you go ahead and those ones you were on the fence on, you go ahead and place those because you're pretty much playing with house money. So I guess if I do really well in the other plays in the beginning, then this late night game, I very well might throw some on if it's plus money for the Angels -0.5.
I like it. Let's review all action here, but I also want everybody in the chat to follow our guy Hunter on Twitter. And Springer is out for the Jays, by the way. Springer is not in the lineup for the Jays. Thank you for sharing that with us, CT Bays. There is Hunter's Twitter handle. Bo Jackson saying, love your insight, sir. We want more of you on our show, Hunter, my guy. Let's review all of Hunter's action here in MLB. He's starting with the A's first 5 at plus 135. I'm very interested in this look here. Very interested in this look, and I think I want to join. Then Hunter's on the Padres first 5, team total over 3.5. That's at plus 100. We've stayed off Orioles, Blue Jays. He had some interest in this first 5 under 6 in Cleveland, Colorado. We're circling back now.
Yep, we're going to take it under 6 for 1 unit.
All right, we are going to take this first 5 under 6. Let's see what we can
And then
get.
we're not, with Springer not being in the lineup, if that's true, then we're going to stay off the over 4.5 for the first 5 Baltimore-Toronto, and with the roof being closed as well. So,
Yeah, that all makes sense to me. This first 5 under 6 in Colorado with Cool. Let's see what we can offer you here. It's plus 102.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So first 5 under 6 at plus 102. Billy Friedrich saying, great work. Hunter Danny Lopez saying, appreciate the work. Hunter Achilles Paris saying, hope you cash big. Hunter Joe Yurkovich just locked in the Angels team total over 3.5 at minus 110. Get this here for Hunter. Okay, then we move on to a couple other different categories. One, Domi Gun Ricci. Phillies first 5 under 5 minus 120. Rockies first 5 under 6.5 minus 115. Mets minus 125. And Mariners plus 113. And he says that he's waiting on the Kirby K prop today. And that's his favorite play of the day, is the Kirby K prop. For Matty Ice, he's got the Taint play of the day on the Phillies minus 1.5. And Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is the Phillies minus 1. I kind of want, I don't know if it's just my hatred for the Yankees or wanting them to lose so badly. But the Rays are plus 210 here after losing 2 tight games to these teams, or to the Severino and the Yankees. Makes me kind of want to, but I don't want to make a bet, obviously, out of spite. The first 5 under 4 I find appealing as well. So I'm looking at those 2 spots there. Hunter's on the Mets first 5 minus 0.5 at plus 116. I've got asterisks beside it. I want to get involved as well. I also want to get involved in his next bet, the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 105. It is juiced to the over, and it's hot in Detroit. And am I asking too much out of Bo Brisky? Like, am I asking, like, that's my concern. Like, this is not a very highly thought of prospect who's been pitching so well. And does that stop? I don't know. But I think Martin Perez can easily shut down these Tigers, especially going out after looking like Cy Young all year until he faces White Sox lineup that's raking lefties. So I'm very interested in that spot. I've not made any bets before the show started. I had a bad day yesterday. Just wanted to talk everything out with you guys. And then the Angels first 5 minus 0.5. I think Ohtani can carry it over. Do you have any concern about Ohtani on the road, Hunter? I'll pull up his splits here. But does that concern you at all in this spot? I know you ended up not moving on it.
It looks like he had one bad start against Texas on the road, where he gave up 6 earned runs in 3.2 innings. And then he also had another bad start at Texas on the road. I guess not bad start. 2 runs in 6 innings isn't terrible, but the Yankees crushed him. 3 innings, 4 earned runs, 3 home runs. So, I mean, his numbers really aren't that bad against the road if you take out playing at Arlington. And then he shut down Houston in the Dome. 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 12 Ks. So, I mean, I don't think the home and away, with what it's saying anyways here, I don't think a home and away is a big decision maker or anything that should make you stay off it.
And the Ohtani spot against the Yankees, I mean, everybody, the whole baseball world was convinced that he was tipping his pitches in that start. Just they were all convinced about it. This was great, Hunter. Thank you so much for joining us, my man. I enjoyed that very, very much. We'll have to figure out schedule to get you back here very soon. Thank you. Any last words to the?
Thanks for having me. No, let's go. Let's get it today. Thanks for having me. I like I said, I pop in every now and then. I try to a couple times a week and hang out in the chat box whenever I can. But it's definitely a lot more fun to actually talk about my thoughts and what I see with you. And you've been doing this a while, and you're the best in the business. So appreciate for having me on. Oh,
thank you for the very kind words. Very, very kind words. We love it. There it is. Hunter Lee Davis saying great debut, Hunter. Trot Lamb saying great job, Hunter. Don Mac, great breakdowns. Thank you, Hunter. So we are locked and loaded. All right. We move on to NBA here, and we have I'm very excited about this NBA breakdown. We have a man making his Betting with the Bag debut here, and I know he's ready to go. I'm not sure if he's got the wrong link, because I know we sent him a couple because we were testing out his sound and stuff. Jose, could you reach out and make sure that he's ready to rock and good to go? But we will now bring on a man whose record this year has been unbelievable. 53-34, hitting at 60.9%, plus 17.20 units, ROI plus 19.77%, average line minus 103. A stalwart on our show all year long, coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome to the show, Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutchy, what's happening, my man?
Jimmy the motherfucking bag. Salute to you, my guy. All the real ones holding it down in the chat. You already know it's all love. Game 6, man. I'm ready for it. Ready to be here with LJ, yourself, the whole chat, ready to hit him straight over the motherfucking head, my guy.
Yes, we can't wait to hear your thoughts on Game 6. Drawwham says Dutch better not do it. I can't wait to hear this breakdown. And let's add to this. I can't wait to bring on your next guest, richly deserved Betting with the Bag debut here. And I got to hang out with him in San Antonio, and I want him more involved in everything we do at Pub Sports. And you've seen him on other shows. Finally, we get to see him here. Please welcome to the show, LJ from HTown in the house. LJ, how are you, my man?
What's going on, Jimmy Dutch, my boy? What's the deal, son? What's the
How
deal?
we doing, my guy? How we doing?
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here finally on Jimmy the Bag, man. And I feel like Eddie Murphy on Coming to America. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I love it, LJ. I love it. Oh, man. There's Rodney Barton. Razor Sharp Pick says I've locked in 11 NBA plays for today. Holy shit. Razor says shoot. This is really fun. I don't think capping gets more enjoyable than this. Let's go. I love this. We have a star of our show in Dutch Boy Fresh and a man in LJ that we want to have much, much more involved in everything we're doing moving forward. A man with enormous potential in this business. Let's go. NBA Finals, Game 6. Golden State leading the series 3-2. And let's start with the line history here as well as the cash flow. So yesterday, well, let's first off, we've all seen this line. It supposedly opened up at 3, and I believe it. It didn't open up at 3 at Bet365. It opened up at 3.5. Then it moved to 4. Now it's back to 3.5. Yesterday, 95% of the cash was on the Celtics, and it wasn't moving towards them. Now money's come back on the Warriors. So now we have 52% of the tickets on the Celtics. Yesterday we had 51%. And now 80% of the cash on the spread is on the Boston Celtics. So that's the spread. As you might imagine, the money line's a little different. Actually, it's not. Why? I take that back. It's the exact same thing. 49% of the tickets, but 64% of the cash on the Celtics. Sorry, in my mind, I thought that Warriors money line was going to be more bet than it is. From a total perspective, we have 40% of the tickets on the under and 68% of cash on the under. The total was available at 210 yesterday. It's still available at 210. Big points from Game 5 was that Steph didn't make a 3. They shot 9 of 40 from 3 as a team, 22.5%, and yet they won pretty comfortably. They held the Celtics to 39 first half points. They held the Celtics to 41.3% shooting from the field. They were in complete control when they had the ball, 23 assists and 7 turnovers, where Boston was a mess with the ball, 18 turnovers. Wiggins was a beast, 26 points, 13 boards. Klay Thompson went 5 of 11 from 3 for 21 points. The Celtics are 1-7 when committing 16 or more turnovers, and they have not been good at the Garden in the playoffs. Just 6 wins and 5 losses. So that's where we stand right now. Let's give our man LJ from HTown an opportunity to fire at this one first. LJ, talk to us here. Game 6, NBA Finals. How are you getting paid?
Man, it's a couple of different ways I'm looking at this game. But to start it off, when this series first started, most of the critics felt Boston was the bigger, stronger team. They got the personnel to be able to switch off defenses. They can recover because they're more athletic, and on the perimeter, they can create offensive opportunities. But now that we see these games, Boston has been just a tad bit inconsistent. And I'm thinking that the stage may be a little bit too big for this young roster, man. I'm not saying that they don't have the potential to win this game, but they're going to have to clean up a lot of mistakes that they're making. And we all know the number one is the turnovers because they're making too many unnecessary shots, fadeaway jumpers, relying on the three-point shot too much. I understand if it's in rotation to where if you swing in the ball and you're open, you can take the three. But if you're focusing on trying to come down the court and just take an ill-advised shot on the shot clock, that's not going to beat Golden State because they're a much better three-point shooting team than you are. So for you to try to match them on the three-point line, it's not going to work. Boston needs to get into the lane because we all know that whoever wins the points in the paint wins the game. So they have to concentrate on getting easy baskets, stop whining to the refs, and just play through the play and put pressure on the refs to make them calls. Because when they're in the lane, they're whining if they don't get the call. They're looking at the refs. Meanwhile, Golden State is on the back, fast break, scoring the ball because they're not relying on the refs to bail them out. So my opinion is that Boston has to come out with a sense of urgency in the first quarter, and they have to jump on Golden State quick because they have to make a statement that we're not going to lie down. We know this is a must-win for us. We could be going home tonight if we don't play a good game. So my thing is the turnovers, like you just mentioned. If they have less than 15, they're 13-2. More than 16, they're 1-7. Points in the paint, they have to clean that up. And the main thing to me is the free throw opportunities. When you're getting easy baskets, when the clock is stopped, is when you can control the game. Boston has missed 29 free throws in this series. Golden State has only missed 17. That's a plus 12 advantage right there. And they missed 10 the last game. And guess what they lost by? 10 points. So those three key things are what I'm going to be looking for tonight. The turnovers, points in the paint, and the free throw opportunities that Boston has to convert in order to make a statement in this game. So that's where I'm at right now.
So does that mean that you are close to moving on the Celtics first quarter? Do you trust them in the first quarter?
I do trust the Celtics in the first quarter, and I'm going to take them minus the half. I don't have the number, but I'm going to take Boston first quarter minus the 1.5, I believe.
Well, I will line shop for you right now.
Okay.
LJ, great breakdown. Looking at Celtics first quarter, I will continue to line shop. Our next guest was over 65% on this show year long and is still healthy over 60%. And we want to know, Dutch, is this the last game of the season and how you getting paid?
Yeah, man. First of all, you see I got the Lakers hat on, man. And you know, shout out to our guy. You already mentioned the birthday boy, one of Cali's finest, DJ Big Boss. You know, absolutely salute to him. But also Ski and our guy Wham motherfucking Bam. You know, I wore this hat today for them because I wanted to be the only motherfucker here online really talking shit, going for the motherfucking Celtics with a motherfucking Laker hat on. You know, you ain't going to see that all goddamn day long. And I'm going to be that guy. Yeah, man. I'm going to be that guy. I co-signed LJ's first quarter, the minus 1.5. I love that look. I'm all over the Celtics -3, full game minus 120. Man, it comes down to it. I'm gonna be just completely honest with you. You touched on turnovers are the main thing. My man LJ brought it. They're averaging 17 turnovers in the three losses, under 12 turnovers and the 2 wins for Boston. Take care of the goddamn basketball and obviously make your free throws. I'm seeing Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum go 1 for 2. Marcus Smart 1 for 2. Too many goddamn times. That's obviously the free throws, they're free, so make those motherfuckers. But this what it really comes down to me, LJ and Jim, man, is they're going back. It's Sunday, Father's Day. We had last weekend with no NBA. That shit was not good. There's too much fucking money involved in here. And not to mention, you touched on Boston being suspect at home, Jim, in the playoffs. Well, the Warriors are under 500 on the road here in the playoffs. They're 4-5 on the road. They did beat Boston, obviously, one game already. But they have not been a team that you want to back on the road here in the playoffs. I expect to get the best effort from Beantown tonight. KG will be in the building, have them motherfuckers ready to rock and roll. And most importantly, I like what I'm hearing from the leaders of the team. Jaylen Brown, I like what I'm hearing. They're not scared of these motherfuckers. They know that they can beat them. They beat them in the Bay, and they've already beat them on their home court. They know that they can do it. I like what I'm hearing from Jason Tatum. Going to practice with a motherfucking basketball. You know what I'm saying? Playing the old program movie. You know, going to practice with a basketball. That tells me this motherfucker is thinking about it and knows he's got to control the basketball. He's the number one guy when it comes to the turnovers. And I like what I'm hearing from Marcus Smart as well. Those are the 3 main players that I'm accounting on tonight, and all 3 of them are saying exactly what I want to hear. And I just think that they're going to come with the urgency to beat the Golden State Warriors tonight. I like this game. I like every look. Sam Colmer's on the first quarter, first half. I like those looks as well. I've endorsed that first quarter a little more because that first half, I believe, is up to 3 at a lot of books. But yeah, man, I bought the juice. I brought it down a little bit, half a point to 120 at the 3. I don't like the hooker, but I definitely believe the Celtics handle business in B-Town. And we're going back for Game 7 to the Bay on Father's Day. I
love the breakdown. Are you making both the full game and the first quarter official here?
I bet the -3. I haven't bet that first quarter yet, but the more and more I think about it, I just feel like how am I not on that first quarter? LJ made some strong points, but it's just been going through my head. I have a lot of bets today, Jim. I have 5 bets placed already. I have 4 props. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, when Razor said he had 11, he made me feel a little bit better because I was like, God damn, I got a lot going on over here. So I guess I'm not the only guy who sees a lot. But I'm 10-0 in the prop market in the NBA finals. So we're going to keep that going. I got 4 solid props. So I'm ready to hit him over the head with that. But let's make that full game official -3, and I'll get back to you on that first quarter, my guy.
Okay, and I'm gonna. We are doing line shopping. We can find. We're very close to getting that -120 price. I'm very close to finding it. It's right around there. So I'm gonna keep shopping here.
But go to that William Hill, but like I said, I bought it down.
Is it -120 right now at Will Hill?
No, it's 3. It's -3 at 110. So I brought it down or at 3.5. So I got it at.
Perfect. Okay. We'll use that minus.
William Hill is -110, -3 right now.
Perfect.
Or 3.5. Excuse me. Sorry.
3.5 -110. 3 at -120.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. So we have LJ with the first quarter right now, and I'm going to keep line shopping and see if I can get that vig down. He's got -1.5 first quarter at -114. And wow, Sammy Comer finding it really at penny at -119. Maybe I need to refresh because I've got here. I've got the -3 at -124. See if you refresh as well, because I want to give that to him. Christopher Comentini says Game 7 written all over this. Razor Sharp Picks agreeing with that as well. So here we go. We got LJ on the first quarter -1.5, Dutch on the full game -3, and Dutch with player props in tow. Dutch, player props, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. So if you if you've been rocking with me lately, especially on the NBA Pub Hub, we're all over Jason Tatum, over 3.5 threes. This was the freshest look. Dropped 2 units on it last game. 1 unit today, -110. I like this look a lot, though. The last 4, 3. He went over this number 3 of the last 4. He's got 18 3-pointers in the last 3 games, averaging 4.5 threes made in the 3 games, averaging 8.5 attempts in these last 3 games. Jason Tatum will bring his A game tonight. He will be chucking them, and he will get 4+. That's easy money. So over 3.5 threes at -110, Jim. And then we're going Marcus Smart over 15.5 points. Got -118 on this bad boy. He's went over this number in 3 straight, 4 out of the 5 in the series, averaging 20 points per game. I expect Marcus Smart to attack the hole, and then eventually a couple threes will drop for him. I'm not mad at the 3-point prop, but he's definitely getting us 16+ points tonight. So over 15.5 points, -118. And then where we're going, man. Come on, man. I got to look at the Bay Area a little bit. That little motherfucker Curry. He probably going to be cooking tonight after what we seen the other night. 16 points, 8 he did have 8 rebounds, but that's about it, bro. He's 0-9 for the 3-point line. And now missing 1 3, not making a 3 for Steph is one thing, but going 0 for 9 is another motherfucking thing. He's not happy with that. Now the prior to this last 4, he's averaging prior to Game 5, Jim. Last 4, he's averaging 34 points per game, averaging 6 made threes per game on 12 attempts per game. In Boston, in 2 games in Boston's averaging 37 points per game, shooting 52% from deep. Steph Curry will be in the game tonight, will bring his A game as well. I believe Steph will have a 35+ point game tonight and hit an awful lot of threes, but I just think it's going to be a little short. I don't think he'll get the help from the supporting cast like he's got so far and like he definitely got in Game 5. So we're going over 28.5 points, -118, and we're going over 4.5 threes at -110. A little Curry will be cooking, but it won't be enough in Beantown.
Oh, that's a great breakdown. Is it over 4.5 threes is -110?
Yes. And last time he did not make a 3, this motherfucker had 13 the next game. I don't need 13. I just need a 5-piece. Yeah. But come on now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Dutch coming on firing shots. He's got Tatum over 3.5 threes, Smart over 18.5 points, Curry over 28.5 points.
15.5, Jim. 15.5 minus 118.
Oh, my bad. Thank you.
He's averaging 20, so we got a nice little.
Okay. Over 50.5. Thank you for clearing that up. Also, razor sharp picks on the over for Smart points and rebounds at 20.5. Let's go back to LJ. Is there any spot in the player market that you are looking at? Are you focusing on getting in and getting out with that Celtics first quarter cash?
No, I got some props up too. I'm with Dutch with Tatum, man. He's the only player that made first team All-NBA on the court. He has to show up tonight. So I'm on plus 150 most points in the game. I think he's going to have the most points. So I took plus 150, and I took this double-double, plus 120. I think he's going to have a double-double. I think he has to play an outstanding game. And I like the fact Dutch pointed out that he's been carrying that ball with him to practice. He was at the press conference talking about it with the ball in his hand. He knows that he has to take care of that ball and make sound decisions in this game. So I'm on Tatum as well as Dutch. I'm also going to rock Steph Curry. I'm going to take the 2 steals because he's averaging 2 steals in this series, and that's plus 100 I got. So I'm going to take Steph Curry, 2+ steals, plus 100. I'm going back to my well. Dutch knows this. Andrew Wiggins, 26.5 points and rebounds. He has 19 out of the last 25+ rebounds in the game. So I'm going to take that. That's going back to my well. And my last one, I got to go with Klay Thompson. He has a great history of Game 6, averaging 28, 49% from the field, 54% from 3. 25+ points, 6 out of his last 7 Game 6s. So I'm going to rock Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes, minus 135. That's what I'm rocking.
I love it. Really fun action here. Yeah. I fell behind the Curry 2 or more steals. Was at what price?
Plus 100. I got it plus 100.
Plus 100. And then your Curry prop after the steals, was that points or threes? Which one was it?
No, it was Wiggins, Andrew Wiggins.
Of course. Sorry, I was
26.5 points and rebounds.
I kind of like that double-double on Wiggins, too. I really like that double-double on Tatum. He's got 3, I believe, this series already.
Yeah.
So I was looking at both of them, but I had to dummy it down a little bit. But a little tequila money maybe on that Wiggins double-double, too.
Hey, for sure.
Wiggins over 26.5 points and rebounds. What was the juice associated with that?
I didn't have the juice.
Okay.
I was hoping you can line shop for me. And see
I will definitely line shop for you here. And if anybody else can help as well, but I'll go over to FanDuel and see what we have up. I love it. So one of the things that I like doing here when you have like 2 cappers and you respect them both, you think, what are the spots that they have correlated? And here, even though they do agree with each other's looks, the main one is the main player really is Tatum. You guys both think that Tatum is going to go off here. Most points in the game for LJ at plus 150 for Tatum, the double-double at plus 120, and then Dutch has the over 3.5 threes at minus 110 is the spot right there. Billy Friedrich saying Wiggins points, rebound assist over 28.5 is at plus 110. Let me see if we can get lower than that here, and I'm going to do that. Talk to me, Dutch. What do you think? Is there a prop? I guess you mentioned that of LJ's looks. Tatum most points in the game. Tatum double-double. Curry 2+ steals. Wiggins over 26.5 points, rebounds, and Thompson over 3.5 threes. Of those 5 player props, which one would you say you like the very best?
Out of the 5, I mean, I really like the Jason Tatum at the plus 150, but I'd probably have to go with the Andrew Wiggins. I mean, my man, he gave it out the other day, and the motherfucker almost had it just with the rebounds alone. And you know, Jim, we talked about this. We were on for game one. I went 1-1 on the show. But I said Andrew Wiggins was my first prop I bet in the series. I said he would be the X factor in this series and the Warriors would win. Now, I went back on some shit I've said so far, but that was obviously pretty clear read there because he's been the X factor in this series, and I expect him to continue to do what he wants. So they pay so much attention to Curry and Klay. It allows a talent like Andrew Wiggins to kind of have to do what he will, and he's taking that and he's going with it. So I really like Andrew Wiggins props. Like I mentioned, that double-double is juicy as well. But anything with Jason Tatum, I'm co-signing that shit, bro. I expect him to have an enormous game tonight.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm just going to try. So they're not, for whatever reason, FanDuel's not doing points, rebounds, and assists at this point. I don't know why that is. The player or points, rebounds, and assists at Bet365, they're usually trash. So
Actually, it's just points and rebounds.
It's just,
It's
yeah,
not,
points and
it's not
rebounds.
assists.
My
It's just
bad.
points and rebounds.
Thank you. Sorry.
Well, he ain't expecting Andrew to pass the ball too much. Huh?
No.
Get it and dunk that shit, bro.
For real.
Points and rebounds for Wiggins, 26.5. Yeah, 26.5 at minus 115. Would you prefer 26.5 minus 115 or 28.5 at plus 110?
I'm going to stick to the 26.5.
26.5
Yeah.
at minus 115. Wow. It was a great breakdown from you guys as well. And I love hearing that you're beating up the player prop market, Dutch, because you've beaten up everything else so far this year. And I've still stayed away from the player prop market like a little bit. I'm so scared of props and going over, because we all track our action and what are you succeeding with. I like the Celtics early first quarter minus 1.5. I like that. It's interesting, as Dutch pointed out, that first half is minus 3, and you can still find minus 3s. I mean, they're juiced, but you can still find minus 3s full game. So clearly the market expecting the Celtics to be strong early, and then who knows what happens late. Who knows what happens?
Warriors third quarter, huh? Everybody be on that Warriors third quarter. It's gonna hit it back. It didn't hit last game, I believe, right? So
No,
right.
it didn't hit
like
last
go
game.
right back into first quarter, first half, third quarter Warriors.
So both of you guys, although LJ is not on the Celtics full game, why don't we touch on that? LJ, why aren't you on the Celtics full game if you are here all over Tatum and all over the Celtics early?
I just believe that they have to show it to me, man. I want to go to a game 7. It would be happy to have a Father's Day game, but Golden State is the better experienced team, man. When that fourth quarter comes, I don't know if Boston's going to get tightened up. Game is close. They're getting tight, getting nervous, making some mistakes, and Golden State may pull it out and edge it, at the end. But I'm just going to stay safe and get in and get out in that first quarter because I believe, like people always say, the energy of the home crowd first quarter tends to rise, and the role players play better at home, considering – and that's another point I forgot to mention, the bench. The bench has to show up for Boston. They only have a couple of players, Derek White and Grant Williams. I don't see Pritchard touching the floor tonight at all. He comes in, he makes mistakes. Udoka gets him out real quick. So you got to depend on 2 players coming off your bench, Williams and White, to contribute. When you got Poole, you got Looney, you got Gary Payton coming from Golden State's bench, they're producing more when you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the bench. So I'm going to trust that Boston come out in the first quarter with a sense of urgency, but I have to see it in the second half, mainly the fourth quarter, in order for me to take a side. I may tweet out later, but right now I'm just going to think about it more, listen to some more people, throughout the day and see what decision I make. But I'm just going to stick with that first quarter, Boston.
I love it, guys. Spectacular job. And unfortunately, this is the last NBA breakdown of the season here on Betting with the Bag. And and truly, we have new voice. I've always felt that this industry lacked enough new, exciting voices. And I think LJ is one of those new voices that I want to really champion. But this show would not have been good if it wasn't for how amazing you were, Dutch, on the show. So I thank you because it just made the show so much better having you just destroying NBA every Thursday here all season long. So I just want to just thank you. Thank you for what you did on Thursdays all year long. You were fucking awesome, man.
Yeah,
And,
much love, Jim. I
we've
appreciate
watched
you.
all your friends and fans have just watched you climb and climb and climb in this industry, and there's no ceiling for you. You're an immense talent. So, Dutch, we'll see if we get up to 65. I wonder, I'll do the math. If he sweeps the board, can he get back to 65? But regardless, 53 wins, 34 losses, 60.9% plus 17.20 units, ROI plus 19.77%, average line minus 103. Dutch is on the Celtics full game -3 at -120. He's on Tatum over 3.5 threes at -110. Marcus Smart over 15.5 points at -118. And Steph Curry over 28.5 points at -118 and over 4.5 threes at -110. LJ is on the Celtics first quarter -1.5, -114. Tatum to have the most points in the game at +150. Tatum to have a double-double at +120. Steph Curry 2 or more steals at +100. Wiggins over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -115. And Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes at -135. Danny Lopez says Celtics have shown resilience, and they've shown that they're clearly the better team. But he says,
I agree with the first part.
But he said, if Jimmy makes that bucket, they wouldn't be here now.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, man. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but can we get the little motherfucker, hey, Jose, in here one time? I need some Celtic vibes. I need a little leprechaun vibe. Let's bring him in here. What has he got on today?
He's not happy. He's not pleased.
Dutch, LJ, nice to see you guys as always.
All right.
Let me put it like this.
Sure.
The Celtics have had the better team all series. I'll say that plainly, flat out, no problem. This has been who has the better player.
We're just talking about tonight, please.
No, Dutch. We're talking about.
And can you keep your tits under that Pittsburgh Pirates
I'll
jersey?
whip my tits out right now, Jimmy.
Okay,
Don't
no.
What did I do? What did I do?
Don't talk about that.
Fuck.
Here's the thing. I need the bench to show up, just like LJ said. I need it like I need to breathe fucking air. I need Peyton Pritchard to be the guy that he was in the Milwaukee series when he fucking hit 3 threes and said, I'm him. I'm this fucking guy. This is what I do. I need that guy to come out. I need Derek White to look at his family and say, I'm a new father. I play good at basketball. I'm aggressive. And we go to the hoop and we make our open threes. And I need Grant Williams to be the most annoying motherfucker on the court. Everyone on the Celtics hates Grant Williams.
I agree with that.
Everyone thinks he's annoying. Even Ime Udoka hates Grant Williams. And I need him to just go at Draymond, hard body, every single moment, every time he's on the court, every time. I need Al Horford. This is the Al Horford game. Backs against the wall. I think he's 36, 37. Dominican. This is his time.
Dominican.
Dutch, am I wrong?
I'm with it, bro. I'm with it. Everything you said, I'm with it.
Alive. The Hispanic Alliance is alive here. Dominican. That's the closest thing we get in the NBA. Shout out to Rico Vasquez.
Well said.
I need all those guys to show up. And here's the thing. Jason Tatum, I think he's averaging 3 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
3 of them Johns. I need something from Jason Tatum. I think the biggest X factor for me is obviously the Celtics bench. On top of that is Klay Thompson's riggedy ass legs. If he can defend like he was defending in the fourth quarter, I am not going to be having a good time. Zero fun will be had. He looked like prime defensive Klay Thompson in the fourth quarter last time. Was that Jason Tatum being gassed and Ime Udoka leaving him in the whole second half? Was that maybe? I don't know, but he looked great defensively. And I need those riggedy ass legs and that fucking stupid haircut he has to fucking miss all these threes. I expect Wardell to have a good game, and everyone expects Wardell to have a good game. But I think the Celtics win today, and I think the Celtics win in 7.
Are you making anything official here for you?
Jimmy, I told you every single game in this series, I've taken Celtics money line. Has that hurt me privately the last couple of games? Absolutely. Have I wanted to throw myself in traffic right after these last couple of games? Absolutely. But you know what? I'll tell you an X factor that has not been factored in all this conversation. We've capped this game fully, but we have not talked about one of the most important factors of this game. Nasty Nate and I will be watching this game side by side in this very bar, and we're going to win tonight.
Hey,
we are going to win tonight.
That's it, man. I'm throwing another unit on this bitch now. Hey, you said it.
Mr. Trifecta and I. He's on a plane right now with a bunch of people he hates. He's flying down here, and he's going to get this good vibe going, and we're going to win tonight, Dutch. Don't let us win tonight, because if we win tonight, Jimmy, anything can happen in a Game 7. Anything. We've seen the Warriors choke away bigger leads before. Anything can happen.
I think you just got to kick him out, or else he's just going to keep going, Jim.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I got shit to do. I love it. I got shit to do.
Oh, man. Trotwam says the Celtics in Cancun, fam.
Oh, yeah, man. Little leprechauns don't get it tonight. I'll tell you right now, my man, he made a great point that all that shit he said. Tatum got to show up in that fourth quarter, man. We talked about it. LJ talked about it. Hold on to the ball, but that fourth quarter, man, I don't give a fuck how healthy Klay Thompson is. There's no way you guarding Jason Tatum. Come on, man. There's no way Klay Thompson should even be able to even stand in front of Jason Tatum. So you got to attack, and I believe it maybe legs, maybe, but I think it's more mental with Jason Tatum late. Control the ball and attack and be who you are, man. Great.
Well, if this is our last NBA breakdown of the year, it's I think the best we've had all year. So you guys killed it. All this action here. Dutch giving out a side and 4 player props, and then LJ giving out a side and 5 player props, and then Jose taking the Celtics at minus 162. Oh no, I'm worried. We want Jose and Nasty Nate to be live as much as possible tonight while they are watching. Also, follow our guy LJ on Twitter. Let's get his Twitter popping off. I just popped it in the chat. LJ Sports Media for our guy LJ, who was excellent in his debut here on Betting with the Bag. LJ, let's go to you, my man. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Hey, man, I just appreciate all the love that I get every day. I'm in the chat, all the groups, all the shows that we have. I live in the chats, man. I love communicating with y'all. Shout out to Dutch, of course, Wham, Ski, Babano, all the NBA Pub, you, Jimmy, Slaughter, Big Show, Sharpie, all the guys that I've met in San Antonio, man. Y'all really have changed the way that I cap now. I was capping before, but now that I've gotten around all y'all, getting all y'all insight, man, I love doing this every single day. This is what I live for right here. Capping these sports games, making money, as we all are a community, man. Let's cash, man. Let's get paid. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Lil J, Alex Ramirez, North Ender, all y'all, man. Billy Friedrich, everybody. Keep showing me love, man. I'm going to support every way I can. And that's how we going to do it, man. One more shout out. June 16th. Happy birthday, Tupac, man. One of the greatest entertainers of the 90s. Make sure y'all jam Tupac all day today, man.
Yeah. I love it, LJ. There he is.
That's how you know. Oh, my fault. Go ahead, Jim.
No, it's all good. Follow our guy, LJ, on Twitter. What a great guy. Dutch, my man, you've been simply spectacular this year. I've never had anyone hit 60% over a full season. You were the first to do it. And thank you. Any last words for Capper Sport in the show?
Well, first of all, that's how you know our guy DJ Big Boss is a real motherfucker. He got the same birthday as Tupac, man. Don't get no better than that. Two of Cali's finest, right? There we go. But yeah, man, it's been a blessing to be with you, Jim. I don't think I'm going to see your ass for a minute, bro. Probably till NFL season, but we'll get something in the works. I need you on the morning sesh most definitely. But I know you're a hardworking man, so if we can find a little time. But yeah, man, morning sesh. That's where you'll find me. Obviously today, NBA Pub Hub, 1:00 Pacific time. We'll be rocking and rolling. I believe we'll have one more show after this though on Sunday on Father's Day. So it was a pleasure breaking bread with you, Jim. Now let's hit these motherfuckers straight over the head, my guy. Y'all stay fresh.
There he is, Dutch boy, fresh man. That was great. Great breakdown. Yeah, I should be able to rock the Monday morning sesh. I should drop Ella off at school, and then I just haven't been smoking inside the spot here. Don't want Ella asking questions, so just been hitting the edibles. But I should do morning sesh on Monday. Jose, you look perplexed.
I just want to know, Jimmy, officially, if you're on the right side of history tonight. And I want you to be straight with me, Jimmy. I want you to look at me in the eyes and just tell me the reality. What's the reality of the situation, Jim?
The reality of the situation is I will be on the Boston Celtics first quarter.
That's
oh, no.
Everyone, I have seen so many people on the Celtics, but none of them on the Celtics full game. Everyone is on first half, first quarter, and it makes you want to jump off a bridge, just to be frank. And it's going to be interesting, Jim. And I'll tell you right now, win, lose, or draw. Well, no draw. Win or lose, there will be a video about all this. Will there be tears in the video? I don't know. Will there be celebrations in that video? I don't know. But that is something everyone can look forward to after this series ends. There will be a video of a little recap of all this nonsense.
It has been a wild ride. There's no doubt.
I hate basketball so much, dude. I hate it so much. But I want to let you know something, too.
Yeah, please do.
Tonight, as I've told you before, Foxy Boxing, whatever we're calling it tonight, 210 La Chismosa, and they've actually pulled me in to call the fights as well. So, yeah, so I'll be on the call of the fights as well on Pub Culture Radio tonight. Here's your lovely flyer as always, so everyone can see. Fights at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and 3 a.m. So it's gonna be fun. But just a little note there. I'll be on the call tonight as well for Pub Culture Radio too.
They must have seen you call horse races, because
I am pretty good at it.
You've stepped your game up, and now you are Jose Zinyatta Bouquet.
Is this a promotion, technically?
I guess it is. Yes, it is. And Preston Ekdahl says make it a life or death game. Says we've done it 3 times so far. Nobody's died yet in the studio.
I mean, I'll be in the studio watching this game. So, and if you'll be watching the streams, and I think we'll be doing a playback tonight. I'm fairly certain it'll be a playback or a live stream on YouTube, something of that sort. But we'll be watching the game live. I'll be live in the studio. This will be before the fights tonight. And we'll see if I'm in a good mood in those fights.
We'll need you guys on Nightcap too, right? Because we got
today Thursday.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. So we'll be on the Nightcap then. They're perfect. No problem. So the Nightcap, Nasty Nate, myself. I think Big Show will be here around then too, maybe. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure Jeff will be here. And actually, Jeff, I saw Jeff this morning. Shout out to Jeff. And he let me know that there will be a little guest spot by them tomorrow, because they'll be going fishing tomorrow, and there'll be a video of it and everything. And we'll be seeing if they can pull a fish live on camera here. So we'll be sending them a link, and see if we can get some live footage on site of Nasty Nate, Big Show, Cab, Jeff, everyone's fishing. So all those good stuff tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun show.
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens this evening. You got a big night ahead of you, Jose.
I have the next 3 days are just going to be fucking brutal. Gee, let me tell you, because we've got Foxy Boxing tonight. That's what I've started calling it. I don't know.
Sure.
What it's actually. The Celtics obviously tonight too. Tomorrow, show. Say Hey show, and then preparing for Say Hey tomorrow on Saturday, and UFC Austin on Saturday too. So it's going to be a hell of a 3 days for the Say Hey kid, Jim. But maybe I can catch a little bit of tan because you can see the white radiating from me right now. And maybe we can cash some bets too, because I'm coming off my season worst day. Well, not season worst, I guess, another 0 for day. But yeah, it's been tough. So I'm right there with you. And I have a Say Hey play if you want it already.
I would like it. Listen to this. Lee Davis is interesting that Francouz and Kemper have a combined .899 save percentage in the playoffs. That would be the worst save percentage for any Stanley Cup winning team since the 1988 Oilers. Was that the Ron Hextall, Conn Smythe on a losing team year? God, who was the 88? I should type it in and find out. Yes, that's a great stat, Lee. Let's hear your Say Hey play of the day.
So I'll be brisk about this because I have, I've capped it, but I've not done my full in-depth capped, obviously. I'm on the Rangers minus 1.5, the run line. Let me double check at what line I got it at. But I told you yesterday about the non-division road favorites hitting, I think it was 63%. Another 2-1 last night. The Brewers, who won very comfortably, obviously, and I said on the show, I was like, yeah, if it's only the Brewers for me, and I fucking didn't take them because I'm a donkey. And the Guardians, who were favorites, the line swung to the Rockies, and they still won anyways. So I think that all that stuff is very fascinating. The non-division road favorites today are obviously your Padres, who everyone is on in some form or fashion, whether it be team total or the over. I like the over in that game too. And the Rangers, obviously, minus 160. And I believe that is it. Oh, no, and the Phillies, of course, too. So it makes sense. But I'm on the Rangers minus 1.5. It is plus 105. At Bovada right now, I agree with you with Martin Perez. I think he's been fantastic this year. Cy Perez went against a tough lefty hitting squad in the White Sox. So I'm willing to bet on him here against one of the worst teams in baseball.
Have you tweeted that out?
No.
Okay, so I'll give you the plus 108 available at Pinnacle. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a nice spot for Martin Perez. What are your thoughts on Bo Brisky?
He's hot garbage. I mean, he had his first. I would say it's not good, but okay. He had a 2 earned run performance at New York, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits. That's a good start, but wasn't good enough for a win. But he finally did that versus your Blue Jays, 5 2/3. 7 hits, no earned runs, 2 Ks, no walks. I think he's been pitching a little bit too well, so I assume that to come right back down to earth. I have not looked at how the Astros or these Rangers hit. I believe he's a righty, so I have not done that research for the show and how the splits have correlated for this month, but I can do it very quickly while I talk and fill time here, Jimmy, because that is what we do here on Say Hey Plays / betting with the bag. The Rangers are 20th against righties, 89 weighted runs created plus, so that's a little under or below average, but I still believe in Martin Perez.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a nice spot for Martin Perez. I feel like I should have moved on it earlier. It's minus 140 to minus 160, but that still gives us a fine -1 line that I could move on the Rangers. It hasn't moved off that minus 160 and minus 160 plus 105, so get it down to about minus 124. I like it. El Dorado Custodian going to tail Jose as well. I love it. Great work from all you guys. I have bet the A's first 5 at plus 130. Bet that about 15 minutes ago. That's the only look that
I almost said something very mean, Jimmy. I almost said something very mean, but it's not the Celtics, so it's okay. It's okay.
I'm going to I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the Celtics here.
Well, Jimmy, I just want to let you know if the Celtics don't win tonight, you might not see me tomorrow. It's one of those situations. It's going to be find me in the fucking ditch somewhere after calling these Foxy boxing and getting my ass beat by 2 strippers, probably throwing me in there. I mean, it's going to be one of those nights that the Celtics lose.
Yeah, I cannot bet the Celtics when there's 81% of the money on the other side and we see the reverse line moving. I've seen this situation too many times. I feel like you have so much invested in this that I, in turn, have something invested in this, even if I don't put my money on the line. I know that might sound feeble, but I'm going to move on the first quarter, and then I'm going to cheer for you and Nasty Nate. That's my plan.
Well, you're more than welcome to jump on the nightcap and see our reactions live and see me dying live. I'm a big pacer, and I know that's going to make Nate uncomfortable, so that'll be interesting. Just see all my weirdness and how Nate reacts to all of it. That'll be all great. But shout out to Cab and the nightcap tonight at, I believe, 7, 8. I don't remember.
I will jump on here. I will.
I mean, in Game 7, Jimmy, let me tell you, if there's a Game 7, I'm going to be an emotional wreck. I do not do well with Game 7s traditionally. And I will say this, as a Boston sports fan, I'm very used to my team going into the finals and winning, and it's a little weird not being in a comfortable position. I won't lie. This is a new position for me.
Michael Evelina says why he's pump faking so many shots and not making anything. Said that Curry got hurt in the first quarter of the last game, and team doctor on the radio said it would be an injury, would be out for 3 to 5 weeks. I
hate to see it. Michael Evelina, I'd hate to see it. I want the Celtics to win with a full Warriors roster. I would just truly hate to see that.
Well, it's going to be very exciting. Jose, all I can say to you is keep your tits in your jersey. Other than that, pace all you want, sweat all you want, and bring it to us live so we can see you going through all the emotions. And yes, I will join you on the nightcap tonight. Absolutely, without a doubt, I will join you.
I'm glad you are. My hands are sweaty. I'm nervous, and I will say this: the thing that's going to piss me off the most about if the Celtics lose, aside from Jordan Poole's celebrations, because I want to kill myself when I see that.
Sure.
Will be all the Lakers fans, Wham, Ski, notably, just celebrating like they just won their 19th banner. They're just celebrating like they just won something of their own. That's going to be easily the most annoying part of the Celtics losing. But I don't have to worry about that because they're winning tonight, Jim. They're winning tonight, and I cannot wait. The Pigeons fucking over there? Pigeons going at it?
No, it's Northerner says rain, thunder, and lightning in the GTA right now. 0 chance the roof is open. I hear that, but it's beautiful outside.
Yeah, well, I looked at the CN Tower, dude, and it looked mighty stormy.
Yeah. We shall see.
How far do you live from the CN Tower? Can I see your house from the CN Tower? Can I just like look at you from the camera? Is that it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I can. I'm close to the CN Tower, close to BMO. I look at the CN Tower every morning in the shower. It's we got a nice little window, perfect view of the CN Tower there.
I also did not know that it was right by the water.
Oh yeah, right by the water.
These are things I'm learning.
Our waterfront is absolutely horrific. It's just
why.
It's all.
It looks lovely. It looks like little ports, you know.
No, it's just they had no city planning around the water. It's all just fucking Canadian goose shit. You can't even go in the water. It's all just it smells. It's just fucking. It's atrocious. We have the worst waterfront of any city I've ever been to in my life. I'm sure there are worse waterfronts, but of any city of any city in North America, let me put that. It's the worst waterfront of any city in North America. It's fucking trash.
Yeah, Venezuela would kick your ass. I'll say that.
Turns you with me on the Avs in 5. Turns you with me on the Avs in 5. I had the Avs in 5 even without the Avs winning game 1.
Avs are big balls. Let me tell you that. Shout out to Cale Makar. Big ball.
He's a hell of a defenseman. All right, thank you guys so much. Michael Everly says, Jose, I already reached out to the company of Kleenex to sponsor Say Hey Place.
Please do. I would appreciate that. I would make them a lot of money because there would be a lot of tears flowing. Especially, this is me at like a 6 or a 7, Jimmy. I don't like basketball. The Red Sox playoffs games make me certifiably insane, especially against the Yankees. But I haven't had to worry about that since they literally have not won a playoff series against the Red Sox since I've been a coherent human being. So, you hate to see that.
Well, man, I can't wait to see what happens tonight. You've added several layers here. One last review of action here. Gogster's on the Alouettes first half Argos full game at plus 550. He's on the Argos to win from 1 to 6 points at plus 360. I'm on the Argos first half -1.5 -120. I would like to add a little more Argos here. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Alex Ramirez started the Spidey play days on the Celtics to win tonight. Gogster's on the Lightning first period at plus 119, and the Lightning team total over 2.5 -120. And I expect to be on the over again. I think there'll be I wasn't on it the first time, so I should say again. I just think there'll be another over in this game. I expect the over 6 at -105. And the Avalanche -1. I expect that's what I will be moving on. Hunter is on the A's first 5 at plus 135. I jumped in at plus 130. Hunter's on the pot. Oh, yeah, buddy.
Hunter was wearing a Fox shirt. Is that a brand that I should know? Because he's worn it both times he's been on. So I don't know. Is that his brand? Just me, my random question. Shout out to Hunter and answer if you were in here. Jimmy, you might not know, but
I do not know. But I implore you to look into that.
Thank you. Am I annoying you with all my random questions during this review?
Not at all. No, you've been so good last couple of weeks. You're carte blanche, man. Padres first 5 team total over 3.5 at plus 100 for Hunter. That game pops off in less than 40 minutes. Orioles Jays we stayed off. Hunter's on the first 5 under 6 in Guardians Rockies. And Taint play today. Phillies full game -1.5. The spreadsheet play today is Philadelphia -1. I like the Rays at plus 210. I just think I'm very close to moving on it. And the first 500. Oh yeah.
As someone that has taken the Rays the last 2 days and lost on them, I would tell you to push the brake there. It sucks.
I think that's the reason why I'm getting the number that I'm getting, and it's
they're assholes, huh?
I don't care what happened yesterday. I really feel like there's. I'm close to doing it here.
I hope you do, and I hope you win.
The first 5 under 4 at plus 100. What do you think of that in Tampa, New York?
First fight under for it's Luis Severino. I do think if it's going to be a raise run, I think it has to be an under type of game. I think it has to be a lower scoring game. You know my trend. I don't like typically betting on the Rays when they have these bullpen days because I think they're a little unpredictable. But you said it earlier, their bullpen has kind of found its form. They've got their little group of dudes. Jalen Beeks, former Red Sox. So I don't hate it at all. I just I'm worried about unders in that fucking little shit box of New York.
And we did get and Lee says I'm gonna be on those fuckers, Jimmy. I think I have to at plus 210. Johnny Gonzalez has let us know it is it's a motocross company, Fox off-roading brand. Off-roading brand. And then we have Hunter on the Mets first 5 minus a half at plus 116. I'm very interested in that. Say hey, play today's Rangers minus 1.5 plus 108. Hunter's on the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 105. I'm interested in both your spots. I think I'm going to combine both your angles. And then I am going to take Shohei on the first 5 minus a half line. I know you love Japanese men. Are you going to include Ohtani is not Korean? Oh, you only love Koreans. Oh, you okay? Sorry, you Asian man. Yeah, my bad. I should use it under the umbrella, Asian umbrella. My bad.
How was Fong's birthday yesterday, by the way?
That was great. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Made
the steaks. Right. Do you cook them? Do you cook them like Kirk Cousins in the tinfoil?
No, I do not. No, I cook them the French way in wine and butter.
Holy Francais.
Cook them in wine and butter. Yeah, it was fucking dope, man. Made a Caesar salad with chives, man. Got those chives out.
Yeah, I don't eat either one of those things. So
fucking anchovies, man. Got the fucking chives out.
Anchovies? I thought you were talking about like chives, like fucking mushrooms. Cloves.
No,
is what I was
chives,
thinking.
Man. The anchovies, man. Chives.
Yeah, my parents fuck with anchovies hard. They eat them on their pizzas, but
so do we.
No thanks.
We fuck with chives, man. We're a big fucking chive family, man.
Oh, well, I hope it does so. And by the way, last point here, I just want to make. These are just my random thoughts here at the end of a almost 3-hour show.
Sure.
This last couple of days have made me realize just how white I am now. I did not realize that I've just lost my Latino card fully here. I can't speak Spanish very well. I have no accent. And now I'm looking more like you, Jim. So I think I might have to get some sun in the next couple of days. Maybe the next time we see each other, maybe I'll be a little more tan. So
I think that would help. I think that could only add to your life to have a little bit of color.
Would it?
Yeah, we were all alarmed at the state of your tits. Alarmed.
Well, actually, we'll disclose private conversations. One of the first things you said to me when we met in person was, "Your tits are less sloppy than I expected."
I did. I expected your tits to. Even when they came out, they were a horrific. A pale color. They blinded many of us with their whiteness, but they were not as bulbous as I expected your tits to be.
That's a good thesaurus word right there. That's always a good thesaurus word. By the way, and then I guess my last point is that shout out to Noli knows is that he loves calling me a chismosa now, so that might be added in there in the one whole zenyatta chismosa bouquet. Those are just all the many things that I've been called. So that's what it is. Shout out to Carter.
Yeah, Carter wants to come by and say a final goodbye. Get over here, you big galoot. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We have absolutely no show with all the support from you guys in the chat. Carter, you want to say bye to everybody? You want to say bye? We're going to say bye to everybody, you big galoot. Huh?
Carter, when I have a child in like 20 years or something like that, I'm going to name him Fenway, so I hope that works out for him.
Fenway is it?
You see what Happy just chose?
Oh, no. Angels are going to win again.
Taking the Angels tonight. That's it. With Ohtani, done. It's settled. Yeah. You see that, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, that's proof. That's proof.
Yeah.
You don't even have to cap the game. I'm not even going to write down the stats for that game. I'm going to say Carter wore the Angels hat, and he knows. Carter knows best.
We all know what happened last time he did this. Whoa! On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys so much for your support. Let's go out there and get that cash. We truly have nothing without you guys. Alex G, Jason Folk, Eldorado Custodian, Joseph Gomez, Cashman 19, Noli Knows, Real Deal Prime, Joseph Gomez, G Martinez, Officer of 50, Ayashi Allah, North Ender, Billy Friedrich, all you guys. Thank you guys. Mad Stoney, Michael Ervalina, Mr. Michael Ervalina. all you guys. Thank you guys so much for your support. Alex Ramirez says Celtics will win tonight. That will be very good for our friends Jose, Nasty Nate. When you can catch us all here on Nightcap. Nightcap will all be together on Nightcap this evening, but we've got big shows coming up. We have our guy Sharpie at 3:10 with Prize Picks, The Walking Dead. At 4 p.m., we have NBA Pub Hub. We have the WNBA show right after that. Then at 5:30 p.m., we have Say Hey Plays of the Day. Who is your special guest?
It's Thursday, so it's Bobano.
Nice.
It's Bobano on Thursdays.
And Babano will be here on our show tomorrow on Friday. So hope you guys get that cash night. Great job, Jose, producing on behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio and Jeff Slaughter. Let's get that cash. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers.
Fuck you, Daryl. Go Celtics.